Kia on the east side of Madison or metrokiaofmadison.com.
Everybody's ego takes a shot on this show.
You gotta keep your chill with Jim, Matt, and Molly.
I am savage.
So you're not special.
Jim, if we want to play this game, we can play this game.
And I'm just like, oh my God, this guy's going to swing on Jim. He's a complicated fellow.
People like me.
I don't think so.
This is Jim, Matt, and Molly. Presented by Coors Light on 100.5 ESPN.
We're learning a lot about each other.
Jeez.
Jim's an onion. You got to peel back the layers to get to the good part.
This is utterly preposterous that I've even heard that. So you can tell Rutledge that. That is absolutely ridiculous.
Amen.
Alex misrepresenting him. That created the single best moment of Jim's career.
Oh, true. Very true.
So,
Absolutely.
So what is the beef with Alex G? Because you should be like the kiss in the ground he walks on right now.
Now, to be fair, Alex.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio in downtown Madison. Alongside America's favorite Alex Gravatt. Here's Jim Rutledge.
It is Jim, Matt, and Molly. No Matt, no Molly. It's Jim and G. We are live from the Everlight Solar Studio. Get into the show, 844-770-3776. We're presented by Coors Light. If the mountains are blue, you know what to do.
And that's crush a Coors Light.
Brian is on point with that. We got a lot of fun stuff to get into for today's show, including the Green Bay Packers taking on the Minnesota Vikings. Arguably the most improved team in all of the NFL. I don't think that's a too bold of a statement. I'm not saying I'm landing on that right now.
3 weeks.
Ooh, that's all we have to judge.
Right.
Yes.
I think that there's a reasonable argument to be made.
I mean, the argument against it is that this team was on the precipice of this last year until their starting quarterback went out. Like, they were a team that was going to, realistically, I feel confident in saying, Kirk Cousins doesn't get hurt, the Packers don't make the playoffs.
I don't know about that. Because the Packers blew them up. I mean, it wasn't like a close game. Like, I don't think Kirk Cousins is worth 30 points.
Kirk Cousins came to Green Bay and beat the Packers.
Yeah, but
and he didn't finish that game, but he still beat the Packers.
Week what was it? Week 17?
It wouldn't have gotten to 18? It wouldn't have gotten to that last game. They would have continued to stretch. The Vikings had to lose. The Packers had to catch them. That's what wouldn't have happened. I'm not talking about that one game. I'm talking about the Vikings fell off a cliff because their starting quarterback got hurt. They didn't have a capable backup, and the team was trying to hold on for dear life. They would not have slipped as far as they did to allow the Packers to catch them. I'm not saying at the end of the year the Packers weren't better than the Vikings, even if they had Kirk Cousins. I'm saying the slip there wasn't as strong. It wouldn't have been as strong without Kirk Cousins. Because I'm guessing, what did they win? One, maybe 2 games without Kirk the rest of the year?
I don't know exactly how many games they won without Kirk Cousins. I think the bigger thing you might be underselling a little bit, too, is that this Vikings defense this year undoubtedly improved. The one thing the Packers were able to do, they gashed them in Week 17 last year. Whether Kirk Cousins has been playing or not, they would have put up a ton of points.
Right, that game, but I agree. I'm looking into it here. The Week 8.
And again, I'm not talking specifically about the game. I'm talking about the Vikings don't slide without
They do not slide as much as they would have, but I do think the one thing outside of their offense, because right now Sam Darnold is playing as well as Kirk Cousins ever did in that offense. I think that the defense, the strides that they made under Brian Flores, like we talk about, with the Badgers, Luke Fickell, getting the right guys to fit your system. Flores probably has the right guys to fit his system now, and that defense is taking huge strides.
And Brian Flores is probably borderline elite as a defensive coordinator. He didn't handle things properly in Miami as their head coach, but I think he is a guy that will get a second chance. And honestly, I think he'll be a guy that will be a great coach when he gets a second chance. So Kirk Cousins, when he went out last year, was completing 69.5% of his passes for 2,331 yards, 18 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. That's a guy that's probably competing or in the top 10 for MVP. Like, he was playing at a high clip.
I like that number.
A high clip there. So, and I'm not trying to regulate last year, and I'm not trying to denigrate what the Packers did last year. My point is, you can make a case that Minnesota shouldn't have been a surprise.
Yeah, but also the Vikings won the games that they were supposed to win without him. So it would have come down to beating the Lions, the Bengals, or the Packers, because those are the games they lost after he went down.
Right. my point.
But the Bengals are not an easy team to beat. The Lions clearly deserved to win those games. And
if you need it so bad, Alex, then fine. The Packers would have gotten the playoffs without.
I'm just saying,
if you need it, Alex, you can have it. It doesn't matter if you need it, because my whole point, and you got really in your feelings about it. And so I imagine when I check the talking text line, it's going to be the same. If you need it, you can have it. The Packers would have made the playoffs regardless of Kirk Cousins getting hurt or not. That's fine. What I was trying to say was maybe the Vikings should not have been as much as a surprise as we are stating them as this year, because they were a team that I think would have made the playoffs if their quarterback stayed healthy last year. And I think they're a team that made a really smart move in getting off of their quarterback, because now they have more money to spend in other places. And we'll see what happens with J.J. McCarthy. We'll see what happens to Sam Darnold. But if you need me to say the Packers would have gone to the playoffs regardless of Kirk Cousins getting hurt, that's fine.
I'm not saying that I need that. Okay, I'm just saying, like, being realistic, if we look at this, it's not like it's some outlandish statement to say that they for sure could have still made the playoffs. I just want to put that into the ethos. I need to be known as a Packer backer. That's what I do, Jim. But also,
like Green Bay to me.
Yeah, nobody saw Sam Darnold coming out of this. Like, he was nobody, and all of a sudden he's not an MVP candidate quite yet.
He's currently fifth in QBR in the NFL.
He's an excellent
Leads
player.
the league in touchdown passes.
8 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 68% completion percentage, which tells me.
Wait, what was the completion percentage?
68.
I wrapped it up to 67.9.
69.
So 68.
Round it up to 69 next time.
69%. He has not had a 69%. Nice. He had 79% completion percentage against the Giants. I mean, they beat the 49ers and the Texans.
Yeah, the Texans. So here's the thing. Weirdly enough, I'm not completely sold on the 49ers right now. And I know that they're a historically great team. There's every reason to believe them.
They're not a dog. They're not the Giants. Like, they're a team that they're going to be competing for a playoff spot, most likely, the 49ers.
Right. The 49ers will be in that conversation, but they just lost to a team that got blown out by the Cardinals, who, are they really that good? I don't know. It's a weird situation. The Texans are shocking, because I think the Texans really, they've got something going on there. So there's a chance that there's a fluke in there, but also I'm confident the Packers can hang with them no matter what. I mean, it's a divisional game. These teams know each other. There's heat there. There's the Aaron Jones storyline, all of this stuff. Like, it's going to be a good game no matter what.
I mean, the 49ers are 1-2, and they lost by less than 1 score to the Vikings and lost 3 points to the Rams. And yes, they let that Rams game get away from them. They could come back and bite them in the ass at the end of the year, but I think the 49ers are a good team that just let a game get away from them against the Rams. I think the 49ers will be right there with the Green Bay Packers battling for a playoff spot.
Right, but this is not the 49ers of last year is what I'm saying. The 49ers of last year walk all over both of those teams.
Or this is not the Vikings from last year.
There's a chance.
Or it's not the Rams from last year. Matthew Stafford is healthy, and at the end of the year last year, the Rams are right there and a really young team. Here, honestly, I want to pause the initial conversation we'll get to, because this is honestly my bigger point, as I keep on just kind of coming back with you for it, is that it is way too damn early to have any of these conversations about who's good and who isn't. Like, we know that, like, realistically, what you thought going into the year, and maybe we can run down some teams, there's not a lot so far that tells me that we were super wrong on anyone. Because, for an example, let's look at the Packers here. And if they beat the Vikings, they'll be 3-1, right?
Yeah.
And they'll be 1-1 in conference play. And then obviously they won their 2 games without Jordan Love, which is remarkable. Which is we'll call this thing a coin flip. What's going to happen? I would say going into it, smart people, smart money would call this game Packers Vikings a coin flip.
Packers currently 2.5-point favorites as the home team.
Right. So 3 usually get 3 for being home. So this is basically
seems appropriate.
Yeah, this is basically a coin flip. I think that number changes if Malik Willis plays. I don't think Malik Willis is going to play. So if we get to the Packers side of it, if the Vikings win, now they're truly, because I kind of view everything still at the quarter pole. Like, after 4 weeks, I know there's 17 games, but after 4 weeks, then I can kind of get a better feel for it. You got to do it 4 weeks at a time. But after 4 weeks, it is a coin flip. The Vikings might be 4-0 with 2. What are their wins here? They'd be 3-0 in conference and 1-0 in the division.
Yes,
they'd be 2-0 in conference. Oh, if they won the game this
yes,
Sunday,
if they win. So, like, that's the position that they could be in. I don't have Detroit in front of me. And then look at Chicago could be, for all intents and purposes, maybe even done, or really, as far as a playoff team, they could be cooked already if they lose to the Rams, because then they're 1-3 or what? They'd be 1-3.
You're
well, I'm trying to think how many games they played. They're 1-2 right now, so they'd be 1-3. So they'd be 1-3.
Take that for that.
But if they win, then they are 1-0 in conference and 2-2 overall and undefeated at home. Now, and I don't have Detroit in front of me. Do you have Detroit?
I just pulled it up. Yeah. So they beat the Rams by 6. They lost to the Buccaneers by 4, and then they beat the Cardinals by a touchdown.
And then who they got this week?
They've got the 3-0 Seattle Seahawks, which is interesting.
So again, one of those where Seattle could be viewed as like, wow, they got the right coach, the former coordinator from Baltimore. They're 4-0. Seattle and Minnesota could be the story of the NFL at the end of this week.
Geno Smith and Sam Darnold taking the league by storm is crazy.
Right, so like there's so much up in the air. Or Detroit could then be, 2-1 in conference if they beat Seattle because they already have a conference win.
Detroit, no, they would, 2-1.
Right.
They'd be 3-1 in conference. They've only played NFC teams so far.
So 3-1 in conference. So like that could set them up if they win that game. Or you look at the reverse. Like there's a case where Detroit could be like in last. Like
they're not in last,
but I'm saying
of the 3.
Yes, but I'm saying if Chicago wins, I don't know how it's break out, but then all those teams are 2-2.
Where would the Bears currently rank in the AFC South? Isn't that the only division they played so far this year? They played the Titans, the Colts, and they played who's the third game?
I don't know. My whole point of this whole thing is though, like the league will not be defined until after this game. And if you want to leave the Bears out of it because, again, you're getting your feels about it, that's fine. My point being that,
we're not in our feels. There's one team that is clearly worse than the other 3 teams.
As of today, but my point is if they win.
Over a Rams team that got blown up 2 weeks ago?
But that's my whole point. If after 4 games, if they're 2-2, it is not out of the realm of possibility. What's the line for the Bears-Rams game?
You're
Can
the Bears
you look
fan.
that up? I don't bet the Bears games, but... My point being that, yes, right now the Bears are clearly the odd man out, but after this week, that could change. One game, because it's so early in the year. And I don't want to make it about the Bears. My point is...
Bears are 3-point favorites, by the way.
And they're at home. What? So it's a coin flip. So again, these are all coin flips. Basically, everything happening this weekend is a coin flip.
Yeah, and I will say that there's been a lot of like hectic things. The teams that we expected to really pop off and be the best haven't really popped off to be the best. The Commanders are in the lead of the NFC East. I know it's 2-1, 2-1, 2-2, but still, like, it's a weird
Dallas
year
looks
so
horrible
far. They
and broken.
do look so bad. I don't understand.
So that's... Again, I don't want to get caught up in the specific teams. My point being, I don't even consider looking at things until after Week 4 is wrapped, because now you have a real window at it. Because you're right, Chicago could be 1-4 and basically cooked at their playoff, or 1-3 and basically cooked for their playoff chances after this game. Detroit could be 2-2, and their division could be in real peril if Minnesota wins and they're 4-0. The Packers could be 2-2 and 0-2 in conference, or they could be the cream of the crop in the NFC North. Like, that's how much this weekend is going to change. This is honestly,
and
this is one of the most exciting.
Test. You have to pass the eye test. The Packers against the Colts didn't look like they were going to pass the eye test.
No, 4 weeks into the season,
level of eye test.
Absolutely. I don't do eye test this early. No way, because
you
so
see
many
what
teams
they do.
Yeah, but so many this early. This is for teams are trying to get their feet underneath them. There are teams that start poorly.
So you're telling me if you looked at Kyle Filipowski, the guy who's dating the Mormon mom that we talked about yesterday, if you looked at him in high school and you're like, we don't know if he's going to make it because he's only 7 feet tall and dunking on everyone.
I'm saying that 4 games is too early for an eye test. I start doing the eye test with the record at about 8 weeks.
Absolutely, and that's why the
4
Saints
games
aren't going to be.
Right, I'm trying to... But if the Saints win, if the Vikings win, and let's say they win by a last-second field goal, I'm not going to eye test them and say they're not a real 4-0 team. That I hate that, because all you have to do is win the damn games. I don't care about the eye test. If you want to talk about eye test when you get to the playoffs of what they're going to do in the playoffs, yes, I think that's a real thing. When you're talking about a team, I don't care how you get there. If you accumulate the wins you need to accumulate, I don't care about the eye test. What I do care about, the eye test, is when it comes playoff time.
And that's what I'm saying. We're talking about contenders for playoff spots.
But I'm not even having that conversation until after this week.
You can see the bones of a good team. Matt LaFleur has proven that he can put together a game plan.
What was the record? What was the low point for the Packers last year?
I believe their low point was 2-6.
Oh, it was
so
ugly.
Get out, and they would have failed the eye test, and they would have failed every other test. So again, don't give me the eye test to the bones of a good team. They looked like a team that had osteoporosis.
They were a team that was filled with rookies. I mean, everyone was young. But no one had experience.
But that's projection and hope. It came true, but at that point, 2-6, if you said the Packers were going to be a playoff team and do what they were going to do, you would have been drug tested.
Exactly. It was shocking.
So my point is, you can't then just eye test it. You have to go off of what is happening in the moment. Now, the Packers proved everyone wrong last year. There will be a team this year that will do that. There will be a team that will surprise people this year. The Packers aren't going to surprise anyone unless they're bad. The Packers are a team that are primed to win 10 to 11 games, and I've seen nothing so far that says they're not going to win 10 to 11 games.
But you couldn't have seen anything so far because it's too early in the season to see anything.
Exactly.
I disagree. You can look at a team and say, oh my gosh, it's falling apart. They can figure it out sometimes.
Who's falling? I guess the Jag, but they've just played there.
The Jaguars look terrible. If you look at the Cincinnati Bengals, they are struggling immensely. Yes,
but they have Burrow
three talented players, but they're not clicking, and they always do this. They always fail early in the season.
Yes.
So there's reason to believe that maybe it's something to overlook. We can't look at what the Sam Darnold-led Vikings and be like, oh, because they did a couple things well. Now, I haven't watched the games, is what I'm going to say.
You're just hating. You're just saying I don't want to like the Vikings. That's what you're saying. Because if you haven't seen the games and you're saying it can't be Sam Darnold, can't be good, that's the same people that, and again, we're talking two different conversations, but it's the same thing that people said about Geno Smith, who's good enough to get your team in the playoffs. He's not winning you a Super Bowl.
No.
These are two conversations. The Vikings might win the division, and the Packers might come in second place in the division and make the wild card and go farther in the playoffs. That is very likely something that could happen.
It's possible, but like I'm not saying that the Vikings are a bad team. I'm just saying it's not too early to make an educated statement about a team.
I think it's so early. I mean, you can say
where they're at right now.
Okay, I got to get 4 weeks. Then I can have a real conversation. I got to get through 4 weeks because now you're really starting to – because that's how NFL teams look at it. Every NFL team, every NFL coach would tell you we have a true evaluation of our team and we reevaluate what we're doing well and what we're doing poorly and our personnel after 4 weeks, unless it's something dramatic.
Is it like a team has to get to 4 weeks, like you got to get to 18 to be an adult? You got to get through like just under a quarter of the way through your life before I know for sure who you are?
I would say this, you know who a kid is at 4 way more than you did when they were a baby. Or 1 year, 2 years, or 3 years. So, yes, at 4, they're becoming more and more adults.
Stats.
But also, again, like, it's not, this is how teams evaluate. I'm not saying we need to evaluate like that, but what I'm saying is that I need to get through this week before then I can have a true, like, here's what we can do. Let's plan on doing this on, maybe we do Tuesday so we have at least one other member of the show.
We're not on the show Tuesday. You don't have a show Tuesday.
Wednesday?
Wednesday, yeah.
All right. Power rankings.
Okay.
Because I don't want to participate, like, Kyle Wallace put out his stupid power rankings. You might as well just call it, like, teams I like. Like, it's honestly, here's teams I like, here's teams I don't like, here's my power ranking. I will happily do a power ranking after week 4. Now, ESPN does it. Everyone does them all throughout the offseason, all throughout. But for me, this is like, I got to get through 4 weeks. And the Packers are primed to be at the top of the power rankings if they beat a Vikings team that is undefeated coming into Lambeau Field and they won these games without their quarterback. The Packers are primed to be right at the top of that. And if they lose, they're not going to fall to the middle or the bottom of it. But if they win, they are right at the top of it. And if they lose, they're going to be behind the Vikings, and depending on what Detroit does, behind Detroit.
And if the Packers beat the Vikings, there's still a chance that we watch the Vikings crumble and fall apart for the rest of the year.
And vice versa. The Packers could fall apart. That does happen.
It does. And the youngest of this team, and to be quite frank, like we forget because of all of the drama with the injury, Jordan Love didn't look fantastic week 1. He looked good. He's always a good quarterback. It wasn't like a world-beating performance.
Cousins-esque.
Yeah.
He missed some throws. He had a drop pick 6. But my point is, it's week 1. Like, unfortunately, and this goes back to the eye test thing. I know we got to get the break. The week 1 and week 2, in my opinion, and it's bad. There's too many teams that's still the preseason for them. That they're still working out the rust. And so that's why weeks 3 and 4, you start to get a better feel for who these teams are. And then after you factor in all 4 weeks, you got a clearer picture. Like if you're trying to do like one of those like puzzle, like a scratch off, like now you got a better idea if you got a chance to win the lottery.
I will give you that. And like it's the same reason why when Sales Guy Adul tries to give me a hard time for losing week 1 in fantasy football and trade for CeeDee Lamb and all this stuff, like I'm able to wash that up. Now that I'm 0-3 and terrible, then we can have a conversation about it. But like the overreaction, it's the same concept.
844-770-3776 is how you get into the show. On the other side, I actually want to run through, since Alex is so apt, I want to run through some teams that Alex is 100% confident. You don't have to pick them all, but teams that you are 100% confident will miss the playoffs.
Miss the playoffs?
Yes.
Okay.
After 3 weeks, I want the teams that Alex G is immensely confident that they will miss the playoffs after watching them play for 3 weeks. Chalmers Jewelers is a place you can go to with immense confidence. You can go there for an engagement ring, a wedding band, a new watch. You can take in some old family jewelry and get some custom jewelry. All great options at the family owned jeweler, Chalmers Jewelers. This is Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light.
You're listening to Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light on 100.5 ESPN, ESPN Madison on YouTube, and Wisconsin On Demand.
Hi, Dave from Canopy Wealth Management here. Our balanced approach helps guide you through a complex and ever-changing landscape. Throughout your family's financial planning journey, we will serve as a partner, advocate, and steward in all aspects to help you achieve your goals with confidence. At Canopy, care, competence, and clarity, it's not just a tagline, it's a promise. Go to canopy-wealth.com to get started today. That's canopy-wealth.com.
Step into nostalgia with the Miller High Life Dive Bar of the Week. Listen to Jim, Matt, and Molly every Thursday to find out where you can enjoy $2 Miller High Lifes and High Life Lights. To celebrate our love for dive bars, we are going to tell you about some of our favorites, including one featured dive bar that will offer $2 High Lifes and High Life Lights for the week. Taste the champagne of beer in its natural environment. A delightfully different dive bar in Wisconsin, like Whatever Bar, Ideal Bar, Club Lamarck, and VFW 8483.
Do you know the secret to losing up to 1 pound of fat every day? At MadisonWeightLoss.com, we know the secret. Our unique weight loss program makes it easy to lose weight, get healthy, and get your energy back naturally, safely, and effectively. If you'd like to lose unhealthy fat without counting points, no exercising, no prepackaged meals, no surgery, and no injections with the risk of serious side effects, go to MadisonWeightLoss.com to schedule your free consultation in person or virtually.
Hey, it's Jesse Nelson. When I started my 60-day program with Madison Weight Loss, I set a personal goal to lose about 30 pounds. Well, about 40 days into the program, I'm already reaching that goal. I'm so thankful I chose to work with Madison Weight Loss to make some significant lifestyle changes, and the results are showing.
Many clients lose 20 to 30 pounds in about a month or two. That's up to a pound per day. For your free private weight loss consultation, call 608-774-7241 or go to MadisonWeightLoss.com. That's MadisonWeightLoss.com. Results may vary.
When it comes to security for your home and family, you want a winner, and we found one when we placed our trust with J&K Security Solutions. This is Greg Gard. Kim and Jeff hit the game-winning shot for us with the Control 4 home technology system. Home or away, from our smartphones, we can open the garage door, dim the lights, turn on the TV, as well as arm the security system. That's convenience as well as peace of mind. Let J&K Security Solutions do for your home or business like they've done for us. Call 255-5799 or online at jksecurity.com.
It's the September sell down at Zimbrick Chevrolet. Save up to $10,000 and get 0% APR on the 2024 Silverado 1500. Includes $4,877 dealer discount, $3,000 consumer cash, and $1,750 bonus cash. Must qualify for trade assistance $1,000. See all of our specials at Zimbrick Chevrolet, East Madison, Sun Prairie, and ZimbrickChevrolet.com. Offer expires September 30th. You never overpay at Zimbrick Chevrolet.
Meet Cheryl. Hey. She's on vacation and lost in the moment. Unfortunately, so is her Chase debit card.
It's gotta be somewhere.
Maybe she lost it at salsa night.
These skirts should have pockets.
Or maybe she lost it at Pilates.
3 and 2 and...
But she's not worried. With the Chase mobile app, she can lock her card till it turns up. Tools that help protect. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Tommy! I can't wait for golf this weekend, huh, buddy? Time flies. Love you, man. Oh, don't forget your knee brace again. We aren't in college anymore.
Moments together matter, so help protect yourself from RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or severe diabetes, you're at higher risk of landing in the hospital from RSV, and there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Phish Friday on Jim, Matt, and Molly is brought to you by Off-Broadway Draft House. Enjoy a traditional Friday fish fry at Madison's favorite neighborhood gathering spot, Off-Broadway Draft House.
When I jumped off, I had a bucket full of thoughts.
The Advent Madison chimes in. The 49ers are the 49ers still, just hella banged up, and I don't know why you're surprised about the Vikings. Darnold was a number 1 overall pick and now got an opportunity with a decent supporting cast. Seems like G forgot injuries exist. Bears could beat the Rams easily, no cup. no Nakua. And he said, read both, Jim. So I have read both of those.
I will say, I forgot about how incredibly beaten to hell the Rams are.
Can I say one thing to Adam and Madison, though? The saying that nobody should be surprised by Sam Darnold, hell yes, we should be surprised by Sam Darnold. What he is doing is not what anyone should have expected coming into the year.
It's wild to me. It's so political how much emphasis we put into who decide. Like, the people who scout, they know what they're doing. I don't want to take anything away from them, but they also miss a lot. And when these guys get drafted first overall, we all think of them as the best ever. Jordan Love was the 26th, 27th pick in the NFL draft. Pat Mahomes was 15. Jalen Hurts dropped into the second round. Like, there are good quarterbacks who don't make it right away. The only unanimous MVP ever, Lamar Jackson, was the 32nd pick. I mean, like...
And some thought he should be a wide receiver.
And people
Did you
get
say
it
Tom
wrong.
Brady yet? I don't know if you said Tom Brady.
Tom Brady.
Brock Purdy?
I will say,
it's true.
I think it's different than Tom Brady.
But
that
Jordan
was
Love's
bad.
different too, because I'm trying to remember now some of these quarterbacks. Who was picked in front of him?
In front of, Aaron Rodgers?
No, instead of Jordan Love.
That was the Joe Burrow year.
That was Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, Tua.
Okay, so 2 out of those 3, you still make a case that with the right pick.
Was there one? Was Mac Jones also drafted that year?
No, he was not.
That was
he
the year. That was Mac Jones' Justin Fields, Trevor
Fields.
Lawrence year. And you know what? Here's the funny thing about quarterbacks. So and you attach wins to them. And this is what Darnold's winning. Darnold's got stats. The Steelers, for example, are 3-0. They're averaging less points per game this year with Justin Fields than they did last year with Kenny Pickett.
Yeah.
But vibes, man. And so,
it's those Wisconsin linebackers. I love it.
But vibes do matter on it. Sam Darnold, the case for him would have been, most guys would have been out of the league after Carolina. But the Jets, you go, you know what? Sometimes that was obviously a clearly horrible situation. And then he went to Carolina, horrible situation. The buzz around the league when people talked about him, they didn't know what he was going to be, but they loved the work ethic, the attitude, and what he was doing in preseason and practice with the 49ers, which is kind of a QB incubator. And that's honestly the next step for Matt LaFleur that he's starting to show with Willis and then Love. If the Packers can start being this QB incubator, that's the next step for this offense being truly unleashed. Just in the idea that whether it's not having to pay a quarterback in the future or not having to worry about injuries, Matt LaFleur is reaching closer and closer to that Kyle Shanahan level where Shanahan's been winning with anyone. And I'm not saying the Packers
I did want to bring that up because I think that he is in that, he has to be mentioned that. I know that the Titans are probably the worst team in football. I mean, full stop. They're just awful. But he has great game plans against any team.
Who's that, LaFleur?
LaFleur, yeah.
Right. I mean, the asterisk to it, and we'll get to Jason Wilde, and I do believe everything that what LaFleur has done is outstanding. I can't put him there with Tomlin or Shanahan or whatever because, it's 2 games. The majority of his career, he's had a Hall of Fame QB and then a Pro Bowl caliber QB. So, I do think that what he's shown and the opportunity, and you don't want a guy to do it, has been good. But Shanahan has done more with less. Tomlin has done more with less. John Harbaugh.
All offseason we talked about who was better, Brock Purdy or Jordan Love. That was a very common conversation on national media.
Yeah, but that was a guy that Shanahan drafted as Mr. Irrelevant and turned into this guy. He gets full credit for it. Getting the guy who's a first-round pick and making him it's not close, Kyle. It's not close, Alex. I mean, Kyle's got beat him once. Beat them once when it matters, then we can have that conversation. But
that's assuming they make the playoffs this year.
The Packers, yeah, that's
no,
a big
no,
assumption.
the 49ers.
J&K Security Solutions is a family-owned, veteran-owned business. They will take care of your home and business. Go see huge Brewer and Packer fan Jeffrey over at J&K Security Solutions. We're going to talk to Jason and Wilde. I forgot we do this twice a week now. Next on Jim, Matt, and Molly.
You're listening to Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light on 100.5 ESPN, ESPN Madison on YouTube, and Wisconsin On Demand.
It's bird bashing season when you swoop into Potawatomi. Thursdays, you could win up to a wicked 50 grand cash in the Bird Bash Game Show. Just play with your rewards card all October for entries. All Bird Bash entries go towards a December 20th giveaway with a monstrous 300 grand in prizes. Bird Bash makes its bewitching return. Only at Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Milwaukee. Learn more at paysbig.com/birdbash. Must be 21 years old to play.
Jeff Levering here. How are baseball and Pella windows and doors of Wisconsin alike? Pella manufactures all their own products. Baseball teams develop their own players in the minors. Pella tests every product thousands of times to ensure it stands the test of time. A baseball player's ultimate test is to get called up to the big leagues, hoping to play well enough to stay. Right now, at Pella, get as low as $18 per window and $81 per patio door per month. Certain restrictions apply. It ends September 30th. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Let's get the latest from Lambeau.
There's always pressure. You got to find ways to deal with that pressure and handle it as best you can to be the best.
This is your green and gold fix on 100.5 ESPN.
Obviously, there's going to be things that turn up along the way. You got to be able to adjust.
This green and gold fix is driven by Metro Ford.
It's always a good day when a Pro Football Hall of Famer sings your praises. And that was the case Thursday for Packers safety Xavier McKinney, when Pro Football Hall of Famer Charles Woodson joined Wilde and Tausch on ESPN Wisconsin.
Like there's certain plays that players make where they studied the film and they were anticipating something happening.
Find the full conversation with Pro Football Hall of Famer Charles Woodson on Wisconsin On Demand and wherever you get your podcast ahead of Packers Vikings at Lambeau Field. It's a noon kickoff on Sunday. I'm Alex Stroh.
Purchase, finance, or service a new or pre-owned Ford at Metro Ford of Madison on the east side today.
For love of the game.
There's nothing like being selected to the Olympic team.
And love of their country.
Championship of that level, gold medal, means more.
Tune into Behind the Bucks on the Bucks Plus Audio Network. Inside stories from Bucks stars on the agony and triumph of competing to win it all at the Olympics. It's Behind the Bucks, presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. Available now on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, and streaming wherever you get your podcasts.
Listen to Madison Money Guy every Saturday morning at 7 a.m. on 100.5 ESPN and ESPNWisconsin.com.
I like to refer to inflation as the silent killer. It's an invisible risk. It's just the idea that things get more expensive over time. You're going to need milk and eggs when you're in your early 60s and when you're in your early 80s. You're going to get a loaf of bread, and it's going to be more expensive 20 years from now.
Christian Finfrock is the Madison Money Guy. Call him today at 208-1800.
All you have is one chance after an accident, one decision on who to call, one shot to get the help you need. Don't waste it on the one offer you get from your insurance company. Make the one call to Gruber Law Offices. It's the only one you'll need to make. Call us today. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Here's to celebrating everyone's favorite time of year in Wisconsin with all our arty, fun-loving, foodie, feasting fall events. There's Kohler Food and Wine, Aaron's Art on Wheels at Road America, Red Cliff Cultural Days, Holy Hill Art and Craft Fair, and the fests. Wausau's Ginseng Fest, Warren's Cranberry Fest, Bayfield Apple Fest, Milwaukee Film Fest. Whew. There's a whole lot of fall fun to be had in Wisconsin. Find more events at TravelWisconsin.com. Sponsored by Travel Wisconsin.
Matt Hamilton here to tell you about my friends at Revive Restoration. Nobody plans for accidents to happen, but when they do, you can count on Revive to be professional, efficient, and detail-oriented as they make things right again. Revive Restoration.
Welcome back to Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light on 100.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealership.
It is Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light, live from the Everlight Solar Studio. It is Jim and G today, as Molly is...
Jimmy G.
Yes, Molly is on a well-earned break, and Matt Hamilton is on a not-earned-at-all break from the show.
I'm a nut.
We are joined by Jason Wilde, who is often on the show, more than Matt Hamilton is. So, Jason, thanks for taking time on a Friday.
Yeah, probably not in terms of total minutes.
Right.
But certainly in terms of total shows, I think I've got him by a pretty wide margin, actually.
Yeah, you're not that far off. And from what I gather, the next month and a half is only going to be worse. So apparently he's got a very heavy curling schedule. And then Molly will be out. So, Jason, who knows how it goes. Alex G's on the show today. So
yeah, before we get into the actual sports talk, I want to follow up on our conversation last week. Was it Sydney who had homecoming?
Madison had homecoming.
Madison.
You were, there was a 50-50 shot there, Alex, so you're good.
My apologies.
Yeah. But then Sydney and I did go to the game on Friday night. Maddie did not have any interest in that. She went to the dance on Saturday. But
did she come home? Did she come home with flowers?
She came home with none of the above. Her girlfriends and she hung out together. The dance was supposed to go 7 to 10:30. She was fashionably late. Her dad dropped her off at 7:20. I think I let her out of the car, and I picked her up at 9:15. She had enough by then. So I'm hoping that this continues until she's kind of 23, 24, somewhere in that range. Keeping boys at arm's length all the way through her education at the University of Wisconsin or wherever she chooses to matriculate.
Jim, you're not far off.
Yeah, Rosie's 11. I got time.
Tell him.
You think you do, but you don't.
All right. Well, then I'll just focus my attention on Nola. No, I mean, yes, I'm already worried about it. I'm already worried about it, but so far, so good. She seems more interested in her friends and her books than she does boys. But I know there are, I don't get given the names, but I know there are crushes that Rosie has, but no boyfriends yet. No dances, no dates. So far, so good, Alex. Thanks for putting that in my Friday. Anyways, Jason, trying to ruin my...
Yeah, he's got enough to worry about with the Bears.
Right.
Don't be doing that to him, Alex.
Actually, I'm actually very optimistic on Caleb Williams, but I feel like this is going to be a wasted season.
Yeah.
And that's my bummer is that I'm concerned it's going to be like... not like Stafford or like Herbert, but it's going to be one of those years where they're going to win 7 games. They're going to fire the coach. Caleb's going to, I think Caleb's one of those guys that unless you're physically injuring him, he's already calling defenses and making adjustments at the line, and they're asking him to do a lot. Actually, Jason, I'll ask you this. How much did the Packers do with Jordan Love? Because you can see, Jaden Daniels with Washington, it's a lot of one read and run or quick reads or throw it. It's not a lot of having to read the defense. And this is not me saying this, is people breaking down film, but he's exceeding at it. And the concern is at some point that might get figured out, or maybe it never will be. The Bears are like, Caleb, you're running the whole offense. You're going to call offensive line changes. You're going to call audibles. You're going to notice the Mike Blitzer. You're going to have to do it all, and it might look ugly early, but when it all comes together, then it's going to come together and stay together. What did the Packers do with Jordan Love with that sort of stuff?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think they wanted him to be able to be effective in going through his progressions. They did not want him to be the one read and go. Now, in fairness, he wasn't a rookie when he finally started, right? I mean, he had 3 years, so the expectation should have been much higher for him to be much further along. I don't know what it would have looked like had he started as a rookie, and I would also say that as good as Jaden Daniels was, I watched that game too while I was writing, I'm sure that he still has plenty of growing pains ahead of him, right? And I don't love the sports commentary industrial complex where everyone's got to either be star-spangled awesome or they suck, and the same person can be those two things in the span of 3 weeks, right?
Mm-hmm. In the span of 3 plays.
Right. I mean, we were talking about Caleb Williams after the preseason with some of the throws he made, and my thought was, all right, look, the guy, you can see the talent. It's obvious, but it's going to be different early in the season, and that's exactly what it's turned out to be. Now, do I still believe he's going to be really good? Do I believe that the Chicago Bears should have taken Jaden Daniels instead? No, I do not. But, if you're a prisoner of the moment, a palm, as Tausch likes to call you when you do that, then you might feel that way. But, I don't know what Jaden Daniels is ultimately going to be, but obviously that was a really good night for him. I don't know what Malik Willis would have ultimately been had he had time to sit. That was a story I worked on last week. Mm-hmm. I don't know what Jordan Love would have been like had he played right away, but I have a pretty good idea. I don't think he would have been very good. And so I just think that situations and opportunities to develop are so critical that and nothing that you see, the early returns are just not the way you want to start making judgments that quickly.
It's really interesting that you bring that up because that's how we started the show, actually. We're talking about we're 3 games in. The Packers look like they're pretty good. Matt LaFleur, I'm a huge believer in, obviously. And then the Vikings are coming into town super hot. But Jim says it's too early to make a decision on how good these teams are. I understand that.
I want to get through this week.
I want to hear, as a journalist, when do you start to decide what the story of the season for a team is?
Wow, a Big J journalism question.
Oh, Big J.
Folks at Vilas Hall are going to be thrilled. Look, I try not to make too many sweeping judgments until we're at least, halfway through the season. And even then, look, I brought this up to LaFleur and Stenavich yesterday at kind of at Tausch's behest. I had thought of it as well, but not as thoughtfully as the great Mark Tauscher had. But the last time the Vikings came into town, these guys got booed off the field at halftime. Like, they got a sarcastic Bronx cheer when they finally converted their first third down with 1:10 left in the first half. They were bad. And, Adam Stenavich, the offensive coordinator, and LaFleur both admitted that was basically rock bottom. They lost the game. They're 2-5, and all seems lost. And there are certainly times throughout NFL history that teams in that position folded their tents and finished, 4-13 or whatever, and they just never recovered. And I was thinking that when I said they'd go 6-11, that was starting to look optimistic. And look at how it turned out, right? They win 7 of the last 10. They make the playoffs. They win a playoff game. They've got the 49ers on the ropes, on the road. Like, that's the beauty of this. You don't know when that storyline is going to turn, but it's pretty awesome. Like the year that Rodgers said, run the table, I'm not even sure he was that confident. He was confident when he said, relax. I can tell you that. He knew that they had a really good football team, and then they stayed healthy, and they proved him right. In 16, I think he said that because he knew that the locker room needed to hear that. I'm not convinced he believed it. And then he started to believe more and more as they started to get on that roll, and they obviously won 8 straight to reach an NFC championship game. So, look, I'm excited about this game from a reporter's standpoint, from a learn more about both of these teams' standpoint. But I got to be honest with you guys, I am much murkier in whether or not Jordan Love is going to play
I was going to ask you.
Than I was on Monday. And Jimmy, I knew you were gonna, and not to preempt you, but like that to me, I don't know if I'm just taking the bait, but I really thought, like, even talking to Jordan on Wednesday, he sounded like a guy that was planning on playing. And maybe I just misread him. I'm usually pretty good at reading guys, but like, here's an instance. Like, obviously Jaire Alexander is also on the injury report as questionable. But, like, last week, they gave the injury report right away when LaFleur came to the podium. Like, he said, Jordan's questionable. I think Jordan Morgan was out, and Carrington Valentine was, like, doubtful. And today, he said, we'll have the injury report for you at 3 o'clock. He said this at, 1:40. I was like, okay, why are we withholding this? This is what we did the first week. And then, obviously, the injury report comes out, and Love is still questionable, but is that a different type of questionable than he was last week? Or he would have been, like, I'm wondering if he had some sort of I don't want to go so far as to say a setback, but maybe a hiccup during the course of practice. And Rob Domofsky, mentioned this on our show and elsewhere that, there was a drill in practice yesterday during the portion of practice that reporters are allowed to watch where the quarterbacks hand off to a running back and then peel away and on a full sprint get flipped the ball by one of the coaches and then throw that ball on the run going the opposite direction of the running back. And Love didn't do that drill. And what I would say about that, and as Rob said, that's the drill that requires the most stress on your leg. That requires the most movement by the quarterback. And the fact that he didn't do it, you kind of get into that Brian Windhorse thing where you're leaning back in your chair, pointing your fingers up in the air going, what does that mean? What does that make you wonder? Kind of a thing.
So off of that, I was kind of ask you of how much there is, like, obviously the gambling aspect to it, and there's playing with the words here, but limited to questionable, being listed as questionable, like, how truthful does that have to be? I remember Brett Bielema back in the day had, I think, Tyler Donovan throw a pass left-handed so you could say that someone practiced in practice even though he wasn't going to play. So how much wiggle room is there when you're coming up with a designation for a player?
I think there should be, and I think eventually there will be far less because, again, they started doing injury reports way back when, because of gambling, because they didn't want gamblers getting inside information from people with the team or from the medical staff if they knew the guy in town or whatever else, and they would have more insight in their illegal gambling because they had a guy on the inside. So then they did the injury reports. They did away with probable like 6-7 years ago, which I still think was a mistake, because there's a 5% chance he doesn't play to about a 75% chance he doesn't play. That's all covered by questionable, and then after that it's doubtful and out. So it used to be very straightforward. 25% or less chance of him not playing, he's probable. 50% chance of him not playing, he's questionable. 75% chance of him not playing, he's doubtful. And then 100% he's out. It was simple then. But I don't see how they can continue. That 49ers thing, I have to think Roger Goodell was not pleased. And even though they didn't end up getting fined for it, when the running back says that I found out on Friday that I was playing, and they made it seem like Christian McCaffrey was a game-time decision, there's a lot of people in the fantasy realm, in the regular betting realm, that information was problematic. And so I don't see how you can have all these places be partners with your league. Like I'm not going to say who they are, that you know that already, but
Yep.
So-and-so, official fantasy partner of the NFL. I don't know how you can do that and then keep information. It's going to have to be way more wide open. And if I was one of those companies, I would also want that information. And I certainly would want it if I was one of the bettors.
So this morning you joined Jen, Gabe, and Chewy with our boy Alex Strofe, who was filling in for them. And you mentioned,
I don't know about our boy.
He's my boy.
He's
He and I are buddies.
The lesser Alex. Yeah.
Oh, wow. All right. Feeling good after that one. But you mentioned that Jordan Love went through practice and he was playing with the first team, whereas last week we found out he was playing with the scout team. So it feels like there's definitely a trend in the right direction, but does that maybe make us a little bit more worried about, should he not play, Malik Willis wouldn't be ready to start and win this game for the Packers?
Yeah, I mean, maybe I was, quite frankly, Alex, maybe I was being presumptuous there about him, how much he was working with the ones. Maybe, I mean, again, I thought it was very telling that, LaFleur was willing to answer my question on Monday about whether or not Love had taken team reps during the week last week. And somebody else jumped in and then asked a different question. You can imagine, I'm not always the most tolerant person, but I was going to ask, were those team reps running the scout team or running the ones? And then the conversation went a different direction, so I never really got the chance. But when I got to talk to Love on Wednesday, I asked him that, and his reaction was like, ooh, gotcha. And he laughed, and he said, oh, team reps. He didn't want to say what kind of reps they were. That would tell me that they were probably scout team reps and that they never intended on playing him last week. This week, if they were serious about playing him, I have to think he took first team starter reps, at least some of them, with those starters on Wednesday. Now, whether that changed as the week went on, he could have come to them on Wednesday and said, look, I don't feel good about this. I don't like the way I planted. I don't like the way I pushed off. I don't like changing directions. I don't think that this is a smart decision to have me play. Maybe that's the conversation. The problem is there's no transparency, and if you ask Matt LaFleur how concerned he is, then he's got his new stock answer. In addition to he was limited, it's, well, you're concerned anytime one of your best players can't take a full complement of reps in practice. That's always going to concern you. So I honestly, I thought I knew, but I really don't know, and I'm not the only one that's feeling that way today.
I love that reference there. Jason, before we let you go, with Aaron Jones coming back to Green Bay, and he had the article in the Players Tribune, he immediately came to mind as the player that I can remember who departed Green Bay, honestly, like the best way possible as far as handling the PR on his end of things, understanding everything that Green Bay can mean to him in the future, like as a smart businessman and having that love of that fan base. I thought that he clearly, I'm sure, would love to stick it to the Packers on the field, but for the organization and the fans, very appreciative. And I thought that was a brilliant move by him.
Yeah, he's a better man than me. I mean, he really is.
Same.
I mean, because when the general manager says he's absolutely going to be back, when it was interesting. Somebody asked him. I think I mentioned this morning with those guys. Your boy Alex Strofe, that when one of the reporters in the Twin Cities asked him what he was thinking the last time he left Lambeau Field, and I assume, being a reporter myself, the thought was, well, he was going to say, God, I wondered if I'd ever be back. Well, that's the honest truth answer was, well, I thought I was coming back. So I didn't really think about it as the end of a chapter because I thought I was going to be there again, right? And instead, obviously, Goody lowballed the you-know-what out of him. I mean, the guy was supposed to get an $11 million base salary. He knew he was going to have to take some sort of pay cut. He knew that he was going to have to get his cap number down from $17 million. But for them to have offered him less than $4 million as a base salary, down from 11, after, he had 5 straight 100-yard games to end the season, I would not have taken that as graciously and as respectfully as he has. Now, I think it's important to acknowledge that may turn out to be the right decision, right?
Yep.
I mean, if Josh Jacobs continues to be the way he's been, you feel good about him. He's 3.5 years younger, so there's a lot of positives to that. But to get that kind of a low ball offer and to be basically told, because that's what contracts do, is they tell you your value and tell you respect, to be told we don't respect you and we don't really want you back. I have no doubt that someone of less character, namely me, would have burned the bridge and left only ashes. Like I would have called out Goody and said, "So much for absolutely me being back, huh? If you guys knew the kind of money that they offered me, you wouldn't stay either. I wanted to be a Packer. I was willing to take less to be here. But if you're mad that I'm not here, be mad at the general manager. Don't be mad at me because I wanted to be here, and I was willing to take a pay cut." That's what I would have said. I think I still would have probably gotten some autograph signing gigs and stuff in Green Bay after I retired. But you're right, Jim. He handled it with much more grace than I would have.
Well, Jason, you handled this entire interview with grace. We appreciate your time.
I know that's not true. All right, guys, take care. Be good.
That is Jason Wilde. You can work out at Carbon World Health just like I do. Great way to stay in shape. Great way you can take semaglutide to, honestly, the best, the most proven way. If you actually want to lose weight, take semaglutide from Carbon World Health. But they have cryotherapy, red light therapy, a lot of great options at Carbon World Health. But if you are serious about getting in the best shape of your life and losing weight and getting into shape, Carbon World Health is your only option. This is Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light.
You're listening to Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light on 100.5 ESPN, ESPN Madison on YouTube, and Wisconsin On Demand. Rah. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin present your Badger Minute. Here's Alex Strofe.
This Badger Minute brought to you by Starry on Bank, with 3 Madison area locations in Middleton, Sun Prairie, and Monona. Starry on Bank is here investing in your community. Start your experience by going to starryonbank.com. Member FDIC.
With your Badger Minute, I'm Riley Yauk. In his weekly press conference, head coach Luke Fickell emphasized that he feels the Badgers' offensive shortcomings have more to do with performance than scheme.
It's not some special play. That's the thing that I think gets lost in the whole grand scheme of things, right? I mean, it's called execution. It's called guys winning one-on-ones. I mean, I just remind, even when I go in there and remind them, like, the plays are there. We got to find ways to understand that effort is going to overcome a lot of those things.
Get as low as $18 per window and $81 per patio door per month at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Offer on September 30th, so visit PellaWI.com today.
Your Honda gets you everywhere. When it needs service, you need Zimbrick Honda service. Their customer service is second to none, and you can experience it for yourself at 2 convenient Madison service locations on Fish Hatchery Road and Grand Canyon Drive. From simple maintenance to expert repairs, Honda certified technicians handle it all. Stop in for an express oil change at Fish Hatchery Road on Saturdays. No appointment necessary. Part of the Madison community since 1973. Shop local. Shop Zimbrick Honda.
Hi, I'm John Hayes, owner of Goodman's Jewelers. I've been here for over 4 decades now, and I can tell you here at Goodman's Jewelers, we pride ourselves on high standards, classic traditions, honesty, and integrity. We're a small independent jeweler with a great history, so you'll find us more personal than other big-name jewelers. Find Goodman's Jewelers in the heart of Madison at 220 State Street. Goodman's Jewelers, the Diamond Store Madison since 1933.
The best is at Goodman's.
Football fans, tailgating season is here. There's no better way to celebrate football being back than with Boda Box Wine. Boda Box is giving away tickets to 2 separate winners for a VIP Green Bay game day and tailgate party experience for the November 24th game against San Francisco. Fans, enter by scanning the QR code posted at participating Boda Box retailers in Wisconsin through October 30th. Winners will be announced on November the 1st. Please drink responsibly. Must be 21 years or older to enter. Boda Box Vineyards, Manteca, California. Visit ESPNWisconsinContest.com for more details.
Do you know the secret to losing up to 1 pound of fat every day? At MadisonWeightLoss.com, we know the secret. Our unique weight loss program makes it easy to lose weight, get healthy, and get your energy back naturally, safely, and effectively. If you'd like to lose unhealthy fat without counting points, no exercising, no prepackaged meals, no surgery, and no injections with the risk of serious side effects, go to MadisonWeightLoss.com to schedule your free consultation in person or virtually.
Hey, it's Jesse Nelson. When I started my 60-day program with Madison Weight Loss, I set a personal goal to lose about 30 pounds. Well, about 40 days into the program, I'm already reaching that goal. I'm so thankful I chose to work with Madison Weight Loss to make some significant lifestyle changes, and the results are showing.
Many clients lose 20 to 30 pounds in about a month or two. That's up to a pound per day. For your free private weight loss consultation, call 608-774-7241 or go to MadisonWeightLoss.com. That's MadisonWeightLoss.com. Results may vary.
Phish Friday on Jim, Matt, and Molly is brought to you by Off-Broadway Draft House. Enjoy a traditional Friday fish fry at Madison's favorite neighborhood gathering spot, Off-Broadway Draft House.
I'm in the blimp a lot.
Jim and Molly continues live from the Everlight Solar Studio. We are presented by Coors Light, and we teased before Jason Wilde, and you can listen back to Jason Wilde, Wisconsin On Demand, Apple, Spotify, any of those great places, brought to you by our good friends at Revive Restoration. We teased that we were going to have Alex G. We're going to run down the teams in the NFL, and then Alex is going to tell us if he thinks they are playoff. Basically, he's going to tell us the teams that he thinks are already basically non-playoff teams.
Now, here's the thing. I need to put this out there. Not my idea. I'm being forced into a box, but damn it, I will come through.
All right, so here's what we're going to do. We got the NFL music. These are the teams that Alex G., after seeing him play 3 games this year, guarantees will not make the playoffs. I'm just going to run through all of them and just, I guess, old Tinder time sort of way. Is right is good?
Do we have to make it Tinder time? Can we just retire Tinder time? Just say yes or no. It doesn't have to be right or left.
Once you find a girlfriend, Ryan, or a partner in general, we'll retire it.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize G was producing the show now. No, actually, in that case, let's just have G swipe left on everything.
All right. So let's go with, I don't know, then I guess yay or nay.
Sure.
See, Tinder time's more fun than yay or nay. It was just something different.
Wait. Is yay they could make the playoffs, and nay is they will not? Because... you asked me to get the guys who won't.
I guess just do yes or no, because Ryan doesn't want to have any fun. We'll just do...
Because we play Tinder time once a month, and it's not really a segment.
But the whole point of it is, this is just bare-ass yes or no then. Let's put no fluff on it. Let's just do something super generic.
Jim, you love no fluff. I thought you hated fluff.
No, I don't like... No, because, for example, the don't quote me. We're going to do that later. I didn't want the... headlines or sleeper of the week. That's the generic stuff that every radio station and every show is doing. I don't want to do that. Yes or no, yay or nay, or thumbs up, thumbs down. That's what everyone does. Tinder time was a little different.
So you just have to find the urban thesaurus for that?
Yeah,
and
just find another
way.
Time? Do we want to do Bumble instead? Is Tinder too spicy?
Ooh, spicy.
What do you do for Bumble?
Hinge is the other one. That's
Hinge.
What
do you do for Hinge? Is it up and down? I don't know. What they all the same?
That's a great question.
The same?
I don't know. All right, fine. We'll do swipe right if you think that this team will make the playoffs. Swipe left if you think they're not making the playoffs.
All right, I got the teams right here. Ryan, you just help me keep track of the misses. That's all we need to keep track of. The Buffalo Bills.
They're going to make the playoffs.
So right.
Right.
All right. The Jets.
Right. They could make the playoffs.
All right. Dolphins. You're only giving us teams you are positive are not making the playoffs.
All right, then, right. I think they have a shot depending on how they do without Tua.
All right, they would have been a left for me, one of the few ones that would have been. I just think their backup's horrible. All right, Patriots.
Absolutely not left.
All right. Chiefs.
Yep, they'll make the playoffs.
Chargers.
I like what they're doing. I think they could.
Broncos.
Nope.
Raiders.
Left, no. Sorry.
You got it right. Correct.
No, I'm apologizing to my stepdad. My stepdad is watching right now, and
okay.
he's a diehard Raiders guy.
Correct. Steelers. Jeez.
Yeah, they could make the playoffs.
All right. Steelers. Ravens.
They obviously could make the playoffs. Right.
Browns.
Left. I don't think Deshaun Watson has it.
Bengals.
This is the hardest one for me. I'm going to say they still could make the playoffs despite being 0-3.
All righty. Texans.
Yes, they could make the playoffs.
Colts.
No, they will not make the playoffs.
Titans.
No, they will not make the playoffs.
Jaguars.
And no, they will not make the playoffs.
Commanders.
This is where it gets tricky again. Yes, they could, but yeah.
So you got them on the right. They're possible. You're only giving me the ones that you're for sure out on. Eagles.
They could make the playoffs.
Cowboys.
They could make the playoffs, I guess.
Giants.
No, they will not make the playoffs.
Seahawks.
They have a shot to make the playoffs.
Cardinals.
I think they still have a shot next week. The 4-week window will figure it out.
Rams.
Yes, when they're healthy, they could make the playoffs.
49ers.
Yes, they could make the playoffs. That division is just always so good.
Vikings.
Obviously could make the playoffs.
Lions.
They made the NFC Championship. They could make the playoffs.
Packers.
Closer, but they will make the playoffs.
Bears.
They will not make the playoffs.
You are that confident that this is why the whole thing is.
If they beat the Rams,
you put the Rams and you got the Cardinals as possibles, you got the Dolphins in there. Like that's just fan bias.
Is Jim getting in his feels?
But I'm saying like you're
don't.
writing them off already. Like I'm not disputing it, but like your logic doesn't hold anything because you kept other teams with the same record or worse quarterback situations.
It's not just the record and quarterback situations. The offensive line. It's the inability to run the ball.
But my
it's
point
the
is,
bad running back.
Tell me about the Dolphins. Tell me about the Dolphins.
The Dolphins
and Skylar
have
Thompson
3
and what
guys
they can do.
who can make a play at any given moment.
And the Rams, when are they getting healthy? When are the 49ers are getting healthy?
See, I don't know.
If
the Rams get their wide receivers back, if the Rams get their wide receivers back, which could happen in the next 3 weeks, they will be a good team.
I did this whole exercise for that because I knew that was happening. Without a doubt. Because his whole argument was that I knew that was happening.
The ceiling of those teams are good.
Without a doubt.
The ceilings of these teams.
Without a doubt. I knew that was going to be the case.
So you think the Bears are as good as the Rams and 49ers is what you're saying? That is exactly what you're saying.
You had the Cardinals in that.
Sure.
You had the Dolphins.
Yes.
I think the Bears' chances of making the playoffs are just as good as the Dolphins, as of today.
I'm willing to hear the Dolphins not making the playoffs.
And the same with the
Cardinals. But the thing is, they have players.
As of today, Cardinals and Rams and Dolphins to me are all in the same boat as the Bears.
The Bears will not drop a 40-burger this season.
So
the Cardinals can against one of the teams that you're okay making the playoffs.
Anyways, you proved my point. I
didn't.
You did exactly what I thought you were going to do. You did exactly.
Back me up.
You did exactly what I knew you were going to do. It's the whole reason I did this whole exercise.
The reason you proved his point right is because you said he was wrong. Therefore, he is right.
I'm not even wrong. I'm saying that I knew he was going to do this.
Jim is a bigger homer than Matt.
No, but here's the thing. All I'm saying is that I can't write the Bears off of the playoffs. I would not bet money on them making the playoffs.
Okay, I will bet money today. I'm going to go put money on the Bears.
But again, that's just pure hatred because again, your logic on the other teams are in it doesn't.
It's historically good coaching. It's no ceiling. Yes, DJ Moore's a good player. No one else on that team.
with the Cardinals.
No, sorry, the Cardinals is one other one.
Thank you. All right.
Okay, then no, the Cardinals won't make the playoffs.
Okay, see again, now you're retroactively you're retrofitting it to make your argument work for your bias. It's fine.
No, it's not.
I knew
bias.
It was going to happen.
Oh my goodness,
it was
Jim,
100%.
the Bears are a terrible team.
Saints.
They could make the playoffs.
All right, the Buccaneers.
The Buccaneers could make the playoffs.
Falcons.
Yes, but they're going to lose the first round if they do. If they do, it is so clearly not. They're not a championship level team. They might be a fringe playoff team because the NFC South is so inconsistent.
Panthers.
No.
All right. So honestly, if I was going to do this real quick, it's simple. It's the Panthers and the Giants that I would completely write off after 3 weeks. Those are the only 2 teams in the NFC that I would write off after 2 weeks. Otherwise, you're getting a bit nuts. Other than the AFC, I would write off the Jags and the Titans. That's it.
And the Dolphins. You actively said Dolphins.
No, I was using your logic.
You said Dolphins.
I was using your logic. You cannot say the Bears.
The logic of that.
No, wait, hey, Alex. I said you can't say the Dolphins are going to make it and the Bears are not going to make it. I'm saying they both have a chance. I'm writing off only 2 teams in each division. I'm only writing off 2. I'm writing off only the Jags and the Titans and then only the Giants. The Browns are close, but I still won't write them off completely because their defense is really damn good.
Their defense is pretty good.
But I will write off the Panthers, the Giants, and then the other two teams I listed before, the Jaguars and the Titans. And that's it. That's all I can write off after 3 weeks. Those are the teams.
Not even the Patriots.
Not even the Patriots. So we just have
Why
different.
do you believe in the Patriots?
I'm saying I can't write them off.
Because
We're
he
3
loves
weeks in.
America, G.
Right.
God.
We're 3 weeks in. I just can't come in here and write it off. And it is shocking to me because your team was 2-5 at one point last year, and you would have been.
But you could see the ceiling of the team.
No, you couldn't. You could as a fan.
No, absolutely.
Ryan just made a face. Like, come on now.
That's when they were 2-5.
I didn't see this ceiling.
I
wrote them off. I said they wouldn't make the playoffs.
They got booed off the field. Jason just said that.
But I think G makes a good point is that there are certain teams who have inherently good coaching and things outside of just like how the team is performing that makes you confident.
Right, but my point is,
it's the reason why we have a lot of faith in the 49ers.
I like Jared Mayo. I think he could be a good coach, and I think Jacoby Brissett is a guy that you could just grind your way to.
So how would the Bears make the playoffs?
So here's the other part of it. If they win today, if they win, on Sunday, they are now 2-2. I'm not writing.
It's 2-2, Jim.
But I'm not writing. The Packers could be in 2-2.
Yes, they could.
And the Bears would have more conference wins than the Packers.
They're not going to beat the Packers for a playoff spot.
You don't know that. My point is the percentage I would give is much higher to the Packers. What I am saying is I'm just not writing the Bears off. And that's where I'm only writing.
It's objectively a homer pick.
No, I'm only writing 4 teams off. And if the Bears, but for an example, if the Bears lose to the Rams this weekend, then I absolutely write them off. Going back to my original point, you need 4 games. If the Bears lose to the Rams, I'm writing them off. If the Rams lose to the Bears, I'm writing them off. Because now you're 1-3. And statistically speaking, now it's basically impossible.
Well, I think what it is, taking it all the way back to the Tinder time metaphor, if I can. I think what it is that G feels like he's ready to decide on somebody after 3 dates, after 3 times together. Jim just needs a 4th. That's all it is. You need a little more time to get comfortable, get to know someone.
I'm also, I guess, maybe an easier grader. Like, the Titans have an abject disaster, a turnover machine at Will Levis, brand new coach, and I think they're motivated to lose. The Jaguars look cooked already mentally.
They're bad.
And so that's why I'm only writing. This is only 3 weeks in. Again, give me one more week, and the Bears go 1-3. I'm definitely writing them off. The Panthers, like Andy Dalton, it'll be like he might make him respectable. That's not getting to a playoff team, so I'm writing them off. Again, they're a team that's actually motivated to lose. They have their first-round pick this time around, so they have motivation to lose. And the Giants are motivated to lose. So I'm really picking teams that have motivation to lose. And then one team in the Jaguars that just look completely shot. If the Bears go 1-3, they're done.
Listen,
Absolutely.
I will say your logic is sound because if you believe the Patriots can, then you're just saying that any old team can happen to make the playoffs.
It has to be pretty extreme for me right now to write someone off after 3 weeks.
And having 3 of the most likely teams to make the playoffs in your own division is not enough to write off a team.
If they go 1-3, absolutely. At 1-2, no. Because it's so long. I mean, for an example, unfortunately, I hate to do injuries. The Vikings, we just talked about earlier, were a team that looked primed to make the playoffs last year until Kirk Cousins went down.
And they still won a handful of games.
But they missed their chance because their quarterback went down.
Yes.
But again, it goes back to, and it's all.
They probably would have beaten the Broncos.
It's all week by week. Again, you're trying to tell me in 2 ways that, one, the Vikings aren't real, and yet they are a team that's automatically going to make the playoffs. Like,
no, they're not automatic, but they're a contender.
Now, ask me this. Do I think the Bears are going to make the playoffs?
Do you think the Bears are going to make the playoffs?
No. But I'm not writing them off after 3 weeks. That's all. That's a difference there. I am not. That's the difference. I'm not saying they're hopeless. I think they're going to win 8 games. I thought their best was 9 games.
You still think they're an 8-win team?
They won 7 last year. Yeah, they'll win 8 games. Yeah.
They are worse this year than they were last year.
See, this is where. How many games? Have you watched the games?
I've watched the Bears play.
You've watched all 3 of their
terrible.
games.
Not every snap.
See, and this is where, and I don't want to get into it because it's pointless because like it doesn't matter if they're better or worse. Here's what's going to happen: they're going to win 8 games. They're going to fire Eberflus and clear house. Like that's what's going to happen, and it'll be a disappointing year.
So you're saying that they're going to fire a coach? Did you say midseason?
No, they never fire a coach midseason. I don't think they've ever done it. They're going to win 8 games. It'll be an annoying 8 games, and that's how the season will wrap up. This is Jim, Matt, and Molly. We are presented in part by Ruth's Chris Steakhouse in Middleton. And Ruth's Chris Steakhouse Middleton has a horseshoe bar. You have the Sizzle, Swizzle, and Swirl happy hour. You can go see Lee. You can go see Kevin. Have a great time at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse in Middleton. This is Jim, Matt, and Molly presented by Coors Light. Step into nostalgia with the Miller High Life Dive Bar of the Week. Listen to Jim, Matt, and Molly every Thursday to find out where you can enjoy $2 Miller High Lifes and High Life Lights. To celebrate our love for dive bars, we are going to tell you about some of our favorites, including one featured dive bar that will offer $2 High Lifes and High Life Lights for the week. Taste the champagne of beer in its natural environment. A delightfully different dive bar in Wisconsin, like Whatever Bar, Ideal Bar, Club Lamarck, and VFW 8483.
The little one just took her first steps. Her stride? Wobbly.
Oh my gosh, she's doing
Her
it.
parents? Oh boy, here we go.
Oh, watch out.
But you've got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you with free credit score and score monitoring on most new consumer checking accounts. So while you're monitoring and protecting her every move, you can do the same for your credit score, too. You've got this with free credit monitor from Associated Bank. See associatedbank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
Forward Theater presents King James, a comedy about friendship between two diehard fans during LeBron James' basketball career. One of the greatest NBA players to ever hit the courts, his influence brought promise and renewal to an entire city. This fast-paced comedy chronicles the turbulent bond between two fans whose fortunes are tied to their basketball idol. It's a slam dunk of a bromance. Performing now through September 29th at Overture Center. Get your tickets today at forwardtheater.com. That's forwardtheater.com.
Hi, this is Lee, inviting you to Ruth's Chris Steakhouse in Middleton. We got a great happy hour every day of the week from 4 o'clock to 7, and our patio during the summer is open too. If you're getting married, a special occasion, a birthday, anniversary, or even a business meeting, we've got all the accommodations right here at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. You work hard and sometimes you're not sure what you want to do, where you want to spend your money. I want to encourage you to come into Ruth's Chris Steakhouse and say hello. It'd be a pleasure to meet you.
Hi, I'm Madison Money Guy, Christian Finfrock with Retirement Income Strategies. And what sets us apart is we're an independent, family-run office. We help clients like you understand the financial world and build a portfolio that's in your best interest. To learn more, go to MadisonMoneyGuy.com.
Hi, this is former Badger Pro Football Hall of Famer Joe Thomas. You're listening to 100.5 ESPN WTLX Monona, Madison. Good Karma Brands radio station.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio, this is your Metro Kia of Madison Sports Center.
Good afternoon, Madison. I'm Ryan Wollersheim, and this is your Sports Center update brought to you by ESPN Wisconsin College Game Day, brewed by Coors Light. Capturing the spirit of game day in Madison with previews, reactions, and analysis before and after every Wisconsin football game this season. ESPN Wisconsin College Game Day on 100.5 ESPN and the ESPN Madison YouTube channel. And back-to-back big game days for the football teams from the state of Wisconsin. Badgers taking on USC out in LA for their conference opener. Badgers currently 15.5-point underdogs as they take on the Trojans without starting quarterback Tyler Van Dyke. Braden Locke set to start for the Badgers. And if you want more information about the Badgers' upcoming matchup, listen back to the Jump Around yesterday with Jim Rutledge, Brad Nortman on ESPN Madison's YouTube channel, debuting every Thursday at 12:30 p.m. Yesterday spoke to senior head coaching analyst Jack Del Rio. Listen back to that one on ESPN Madison's YouTube channel. Then the Green Bay Packers, they're also back this weekend, but is Jordan Love back under center? Still listed as questionable on the team's injury report for Sunday's matchup against the Vikings. He was limited all 3 practices this week as he's missed the past 2 games with a strained MCL sprain. Head over to ESPNWisconsin.com for all the news and info.
Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealer. Stop into Metro Kia on the east side of Madison or MetroKiaofMadison.com.
Everybody's ego takes a shot on this show.
You gotta keep your chill with Jim, Matt, and Molly.
I am savage.
So you're not special.
Jim, if we want to play this game, we can play this game.
And I'm just like, oh my God, this guy's gonna swing on Jim. He's a complicated fellow. Oh.
People like me.
I don't think so.
This is Jim, Matt, and Molly. Presented by Coors Light on 100.5 ESPN.
We're learning a lot about each other.
Jeez.
Jim's an onion. You got to peel back the layers to get to the good part.
This is utterly preposterous that I've even heard that. So you can tell Rutledge that. That is absolutely ridiculous.
Amen.
Alex misrepresenting him. That created the single best moment of Jim's career.
True, very true.
So,
Absolutely.
So what is the beef with Alex G? Because you should be like the kiss in the ground he walks on right now.
Now, to be fair, Alex,
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio in downtown Madison. Alongside America's favorite Alex Gravatt. Here's Jim Rutledge.
It is Jim, Matt, and Molly. Hello to the Talk and Text line. Glad you're all in your feels. We are presented by Coors Light. If the mountains are blue, you know what to do.
And that's Crush a Coors Light. Ryan, you just whispered into my ear.
Sweet nothings.
Still America's favorite Alex? Like, why are you questioning that?
Look, I'm just curious what the temperature of the room is, G. You're the one in there. I'm the one on the other side of the glass.
I'm fighting Jim Rutledge right now. I think I'm winning over the fans of Madison.
Well, okay, I was saying, are you still Jim's favorite Alex? Is more so what I meant.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Alex Strofe is awful.
Amen.
Amen. He's irrelevant. It's like I had nothing him because he's irrelevant.
Irrelevant.
Do we get, because we have Don't Quote Me coming up here, do we get quotes from Matt and Molly?
We have quotes from Matt and Molly, but I want to get your guys' quotes first. You're the ones on the show today. You actually showed up to do your jobs, so I want to give you guys the time to get them out there first. So we don't have to get into it right away here, Jim. We got a few more minutes. We got a lot of time left in the show. We're only going to have 3 segments left, so let's, before we get to the Tinder, before we just met each other on Tinder, let's take some time, all right?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we could get in Don't Quote Me. But that's fine. We can.
Yeah. Jim.
You're waiting for hors d'oeuvres?
Yeah,
you want an appetizer?
Jim's just like, where's the bedroom?
I wanted to get it out of the way.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. You got to get your crab rangoon first.
Yeah, jeez.
All right. This is Jim, Matt, and Molly. It is Jim and G with you. And, we didn't have anything to revisit off the last segment here, so I was just trying to push it forward. But let's talk about the actual game for the Packers here. I was going to use this segment to get into the talking about the Packers game, but I guess
all right, I'll explain it on the air. The reason I'm pushing it back is because I didn't have enough time in the break to reorganize everything yet. I was planning to do that right now.
Gotcha.
Because
all right.
I had to readjust the whole second hour because the Bears aren't making the playoffs.
Perfect. That's fine. We can share that on the air. So then we will get to the.
While we're doing that, I'm currently clocking in and out so that I can get from my sales hours to my content hours. If everyone's just talking about what's happening on their laptops.
You can get to the show 844-770-3776. I do like Rob's suggestion. I don't know how we can name it as.
Yeah, that could be problematic.
Bleep yes or hell no. Like that was one too. America. We could do America bleep yeah, but I don't know if I want to. See, you could do that one as well.
America's favorite Alex
G. All right, so I'll ask this question, and I guess since Wilde. I was hesitant to put this on our talk and text line and put it out on our Twitter, but Wilde definitely is strongly implying that he's got a gut feeling that Jordan Love isn't going to play. So I think we just asked the question, will, not can, because can, everyone's going to be in the fields, you're all, drinking down the Kool-Aid. Because not can, because they can beat the Vikings.
What Kool-Aid?
The green and gold Kool-Aid
Okay, sorry. I thought you were going somewhere else with this question.
The green and gold Kool-Aid of of course they can beat anyone with Malik Willis. Will they beat the Vikings if Malik Willis is the starting quarterback this weekend for the Green Bay Packers? 844-770-3776.
Malik Willis did look like a really good game manager with athleticism to boot. But the Titans, yes, we talked off air that the Titans have a really talented defense and historically have been really good, and the Packers have struggled against it. But he looked really good. I think the Packers can win a lot of regular season games with Malik Willis at the quarterback, but the same reason that the 49ers couldn't win a Super Bowl with Jimmy G and Jared Goff before that in LA, he's not a championship quarterback, but he's the kind of guy that a great head coach like Matt LaFleur can win games with.
That doesn't answer the question at all.
Yes. I didn't
ask can. I said will they.
Oh, will they?
That's my thing. That's why that's the Kool-Aid. Like, you can give me all the reasons they might be able to do it. Absolutely. They have clearly shown they can win with Malik Willis. Will they beat the Vikings?
I can't tell you if they will with or without
This is
Jordan Love right now.
You are a radio host. You give a take. If
You're
Malik
the one saying you can't make a decision on any team if they're good enough to make the playoffs after 3 weeks.
Is this impossible to not just say, like, no, I don't think they'll beat the Vikings? Because that's honestly what you're saying without saying it. No, say yes, they'll beat the Vikings with Malik Willis as quarterback, if that's what you want to say.
You're backing me into something that I don't think is fair to say.
I get backed into things all the time. Every year when the Bears
are bad. And you made me do a full segment about
it. But every year when the Bears play the Packers, and I don't think the Bears are going to beat the Packers, I get backed into a bet. Like, it's not backing into it. It's a radio show. You got to have a take. Yes or no. Will the Packers beat the Vikings if Malik Willis is the starting quarterback on Sunday? Nobody's going to care if you're wrong.
That's true.
You might say they might not even quote you.
Hey, no, all right. Yeah, cool. Take it away, Ryan.
No.
We're not saying it's gonna happen.
Let it ride.
But if it does, then we want credit.
Say that again, because that is an amazing take.
I told you all.
If not, well...
Don't quote me, boy, because I ain't said...
All right, guys, this is our new segment, Don't Quote Me, here on Jim, Matt, and Molly, because Jim Rutledge hates doing predictions for games, so we had to find another way to do it, just like dinner time. So today, we'll each give our long shot predictions for the game, something that, if it happens, it's a crazy thing that happened. But it's within the realm where we feel like comfortable enough where we could gloat about it on Monday, but if it doesn't happen, it doesn't really matter anyways, because you can't quote us. So, G, since nobody can quote you because you won't give your takes, why don't you start us off here? What is your Don't Quote Me prediction for the Packers-Vikings?
Really quick, we just had a full segment about me making predictions, all right? That was entirely me.
Answer the question.
All right. So, my take, Aaron Jones will have more touches, more yards per play, and more scores than Josh Jacobs.
More yards, touches, yards per play.
And scores than every statistical category. He will have more than Josh Jacobs.
So I'll just write down Aaron Jones better than Josh Jacobs.
Pretty much.
Alrighty. Okay, that's a good one. That is kind of the marquee. I guess you talk about like quarterback matchups. This might be one of those games where it feels like more of a running back matchup, honestly.
Especially if Malik Willis is a quarterback, for sure.
Oh, my God, yes. I mean, at that point, it's the defense is really what's
deciding. And I want to
get Xavier McKinney.
Yeah.
Right.
Xavier McKinney, yeah.
The
certainly
savior.
Hope.
I would say, mine was Aaron Jones related. I was going to say he was going to score the first touchdown of the game. Because I think the Vikings will go out of their way to get him that touchdown. I think the Vikings will score first, and I think they're going to, at least a touchdown first, and they're going to go out of the way to get that touchdown to Aaron Jones.
I do like that one. I like that.
They're going to give him the opportunity.
Yeah.
And it could be a Justin Jefferson play, because I've seen other people say that Jaire Alexander is just as questionable as Jordan Love is for this game.
That worries me but then if that's the case, I think that you have a very strong chance of being wrong because they're going to feed Justin Jefferson because he's going to be much more open.
Right, that's what I'm saying. That like if that's the case, then yeah, Jefferson could make the big play, and then I'm going to assume health for both Love and Jaire. But I still think the Vikings are going to be able to move the ball. So that's my prediction is that Aaron Jones will score the first touchdown of the game.
So you're saying first touchdown of the game, not just like the Vikings first touchdown?
First touchdown of the game.
Okay. Thinking opening drive.
I want to make it a little bit. No, it could go back and forth. Again, especially if Malik Willis is the quarterback, this game could go back and forth a little bit without points.
Yeah. Yeah, and you have heard what Aaron Jones says he's going to do when he scores his touchdown, right?
The leap, right?
He's going to do a Lambeau leap, yeah.
And the Packer fans, they're great fans. They will absolutely embrace him. I would
catch him.
Yeah.
I would be happy to catch him.
Because he's done everything right.
Yeah.
More than he needs to do. I shouldn't even say he's done everything right. He's played the game properly.
Do you think he's actually playing the game, or do you think he has heartfelt feelings for Green Bay?
I think he is keeping the intrusive thoughts out. I think those thoughts are real, but I think he's also really pissed.
Just judging, well, you have every right to be, right? He should be mad at the three people signing the checks, cutting the numbers, whatever, the front office. He's a really good fit in Green Bay as far as personality goes. He and Matt LaFleur still have a good relationship, I feel like, and the fans love him more than anything. So it makes sense. I will continue to be an Aaron Jones fan till the day that he retires.
It's hard not to be.
Packer.
It's until the day he retires as a Packer. Ooh.
They're a one-day contract.
Yeah,
if
you have to.
Clinton Dix can do it, he can do it.
I think it's pretty like a foregone conclusion that he will be a Packers Hall of Famer. He pretty much has to be.
Yeah. Aaron, yeah.
Yeah. Aaron Jones.
Yes.
Not the other Aaron.
He's definitely.
They're both are. Yes, obviously.
They might have to follow the same strategy they followed with Brett Favre, like find that window where they're not being crazy and crown their ass and get them out.
Okay, I want to jump back to something you said a moment ago, Jim. You said that if Jaire Alexander is actually as questionable as we think he is, I think that might have a bigger impact on the game than Jordan Love.
I want to get to that later, absolutely. And David Deerfield, I want to get this Alex is a friend. You need to relax. Jim is trying so hard to make G look bad, even getting Barry shredding Jim and making Jim look so bad. So Jim trying to get even with him.
This is utterly
Jim
preposterous.
won't read this. Shame on you for being so petty and spending the whole show trying to make Alex look bad. I like you. Alex, I'm going
to log into the talk and text line. I need to see who else is saying nice things about me. Thanks for shouting.
That's not nice things about me. That's mean things about me.
They're about the same.
G, why don't you go ahead and vet the talk and text line for us there? And in the meantime, we can hear from the other guy who's usually supposed to be working on this show. Matt Hamilton sent us the video submission for his Don't Quote Me take of the game. Why don't we listen?
What up, Matt Hamilton here in beautiful Rock Creek Curling Club in Lafayette, Colorado. Don't quote me on this, but the Packers are going to shut down Aaron Jones. He's going to have less than 100 all-purpose yards and a fumble. I'm happy for Aaron Jones. I'm happy he's found a team that wants him and he's playing well, but he ain't going to get it done against Green Bay. Hafley and this defense are going to shut him down. Welcome home. Less than 100 and a fumble.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was next to an airport there, guys. Sorry about that. I think there was a plane taking off in the background.
Goodness.
He did send that to me. When he sent it to me right away, he's like, sorry for the background noise. It's not too bad, right? And I was like, I think it's fine. And then I had it turned way too up on the board here. Sorry about that.
That's right.
On the bright side, either Matt or I are going to be wrong.
Pretty much.
Unless Josh Jacobs is completely irrelevant.
I will say all three of you guys' predictions so far related to Aaron Jones and or Josh Jacobs in some way. So
can I just say
it's the running back matchup.
I logged onto the talk and text line. I'm so sorry, Jim. Oh my gosh.
Oh, I don't care about any of that. The only thing I care about is that people need to know that I am a huge advocate for Alex G. We're having some fun. I'm not trying to do anything for Alex. I'm actually trying to make him a better host. He needs to have takes. It's not trying to bury him. We just have to have a take. It's a little bit of coaching on the air, but you gotta have to have a take. But David Deerfield, I'm a big Alex G fan, so relax. We're having some fun.
I like
the
how
whole thing is fun.
I like how one of the Jim Rutledge is an idiot guys actually just finally sent in his name too. Now that we actually know who he is for a fact.
Being from Green Bay does track.
Okay, well, speaking of Green Bay, Molly Brown, she's spent some time up in Green Bay, and
at the Applebee's up there. Is it the east or west or the downtown Applebee's?
I don't know, but Jim Rutledge, whether it's east, west, north, or south, the Packers are getting 4 sacks on Sam Darnold, according to Molly Brown.
That's not bad. Darnold's not that mobile.
He's not, but I think
he's take is that
they give.
I think he's only been sacked twice this year.
It's a good take because their offense is very similar to the Packers. It's get the ball out of his hands. Don't ask him to do a lot. Scheme a guy open. Get the ball to that guy and go.
If one of these coaches wins both games and makes the playoffs, do you think that they're a shoo-in for Coach of the Year?
Whichever team wins this game, their head coach will be the leader for Coach of the Year, I think.
Yes.
Right now, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, by Monday will be the leader.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess McDonald at the
McDonald with the Seahawks?
Yeah.
I wouldn't say he's Coach of the Year material yet, right?
If they win, though, they're 4-0, right?
Yeah, but they were seen as a solid roster before he got there. And, I mean, he's doing a good job for a rookie.
I would put him
in the conversation. No, he belongs to the
conversation. Okay.
Again, if I was doing it, I think a 4-0 Seattle would still get in front of LaFleur with the backup, the injury
especially if the Vikings are 4-0?
The Vikings would be number 1 if they win.
Yeah.
But if it's the Saints and the Packers, I think the Saints and the Packers, not the Saints, the
Seahawks
and the Packers would be the top 2 teams for Coach of the Year.
Yeah. Sure. I don't know what the current standings are, but I think whoever wins, they're going to be the top.
An award I could care less about.
Really, it feels like it should just be Andy Reid's this year.
Oh,
like every year. He's
100%.
just a good coach.
100%. And because, as we all know, it's not about the coaches, it's about the quarterbacks. And that's why my hot take here, guys, my long shot prediction for the game, the Packers not going to have 1 quarterback score a touchdown. 2 quarterbacks are scoring touchdowns for the Packers this Sunday.
A little wildcat with Malik Willis?
Eat that. Or, if it's that bad, either way, garbage time. Maybe it's Malik Willis and Sean Clifford.
I don't think it goes that bad. I'd be shocked.
Who knows? Hey, if Malik Willis is starting, it could get that bad.
Because here's the one
Packers
thing.
Could put up 45.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's don't quote me. There'll be no consequences for it. But we will talk about it on Monday with none of the people who are you're not even in on Monday. None of the people who are actually a part of Don't Quote Me outside of Ryan and me.
I'll be here.
Well, outside of Ryan and me, the majority of people doing Don't Quote Me will not be here on Monday. But we'll still do it on Monday. That's fine.
We could do a crosstalk. I'm going to be at the Great Dane.
Okay, well,
there you go.
We'll bring it. We'll quote that part back on Monday.
And then he'll misrepresent it to everybody else on the, on the panel.
But the thing I want to get to with you kind of touched on with the Packers-Vikings game, and I wanted to circle back on it is that you're right in this part of it. The biggest key to success for Malik Willis, in my opinion, has been the Packers defense because has he ever played from behind? I feel like they've gotten in front.
No, I mean, they played two bad teams.
But setting that aside.
In the 2 games where Malik Willis has played, the Packers have never trailed in those games.
And that's part of the game plan that works for Malik Willis is you have to have a defense that keeps the other team at bay. That if any one of the let's forget the talent of those teams. If those teams had clicked and started working offensively, because Anthony Richardson can go on a heater. Like, he's more of a streaky player. Packers never really let him get on a heater. He is a guy that can get on a heater, and then all of a sudden you could be in trouble. They kept him off the heater. Will Levis stinks. He might be the worst quarterback in the NFL. But
no, he's not. Oh, sorry, Will Levis. Malik Willis, my brain.
No,
sorry. Yeah,
you know how many times I almost did that in the Daily Primer this last week when it was Packers leading up to the Titans game? Malik Willis, Will Levis, that's a nightmare.
That's the real reason they traded him away.
Probably.
We can't
have as many
I keep
Wills.
calling the wrong guy.
But I just think that the Vikings offense is potent enough where it could get the Packers down. Like, if they're down 13-0, like, that's probably the ball game because you really can't scheme. Like, you can't. The way they win with Malik Willis isn't designed to come back from double-digit points. So the defense is as important as anything else right now with the Packers when Malik Willis is playing because they've been able to keep that team, the other team at bay, and allowed the Packers to build that lead and then play with the lead.
Tyler in Sun Prairie agrees. He says, I hate to be, quote, that guy, but it does come down to turnovers, and I think it 100%
And turnovers would happen if Malik has to get out of where he has to start swinging it.
Or Sam Darnold.
Well,
I think the Packers' defense is more opportunistic.
I don't know.
Under Jeff Hafley, absolutely.
TBD. Because
I don't have takes cravat over here against this guy who's like, I don't know, I can't make a decision about anyone
No,
this
I'm
year.
saying TBD because they've faced probably the 3 most prone turnover teams in the NFL right now. This is a good test for them.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, Will Levis, Anthony Richardson turns the ball 2 to 3 times a game. Like, that's his average right now for
Is
3 games.
that real?
Yes.
Holy cow.
And then you have Levis. I would imagine he's got to be right there too. And he threw 2 against the Bears, 2 against the Packers. Richardson threw 2 against the Bears and 2 against the Packers. And then you have Jalen Hurts, who has thrown an interception every single game for, I think it's 10 games now. So I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that's a little bit of a TBD. That I think the Packers defense is definitely better than last year. And they are more opportunistic, but that doesn't mean that they're going to force the Vikings to give them those opportunities.
This is the first time that a Packers defensive coordinator has made a change that is absolutely visible. They might still be bad against the run. They might still get shredded by wide receiver or running backs and tight ends in the seam. I
guess my point is
turnover team.
Turnovers are not guaranteed week to week or year to year. Like, that's like the Vikings might not give you the opportunity to get that turnover. Like what they're doing this year that they didn't do last year, which I feel I will 100% agree with you on. They do not have the same amount of turnovers. I think they win the same amount of games, but they do not have the same amount of turnovers against the 3 teams they played with Joe Barry. And again, Joe Barry's defense last year was really bad. Other years it was fine, and last year they quit on him. So last year's defense for Joe Barry is hard to – you can't compare last year's to this year's with Jeff Hafley. You got a team that's motivated behind their coach and a team that quit on their coach last year defensively. Joe Barry, for other years, was fine. Last year he was bad. And so with Hafley – I'll give you this. The turnovers are more because Hafley's there, but you also have to have the team willing to participate in those turnovers. So you could face a Minnesota team that seems pretty ball secure, and you just might not get a turnover because they play more ball secure football.
Yeah, the Packers have put themselves in a space to earn opportunities, but they're not all. There is some variability in that.
Because, turnovers, and this is coming from a guy rooted for a team that always depended on turnovers. They're very much you got to hustle and you got to make plays for them, but there's still a lot of luck in turnovers. The ball bounces your way, the fumble bounces your way, the tips your way. Like there's just a lot of
7 interceptions, 2 fumbles.
6. I would say Anthony Richardson has 4 or 5 interceptions. Will Levis has 5 interceptions, and Jalen Hurts turns the ball over. So again, a lot of those were given that way to the Green Bay Packers.
And Sam Darnold also throws interceptions.
But again, he doesn't. Not so much
this year.
Right. That's
we're
what we're
3
judging
games in.
But again, when you're talking about the mean, like what is an average team getting turnovers versus the Titans and the Eagles and the Colts, as opposed to what the Packers did? The Packers are slightly above the mean, but not some dramatic team above the mean. What they did was a little bit better than the average team against the Titans and the Colts and the Eagles as far as turnovers.
Take that for data.
Because otherwise, Alex, you have the Packers never losing another game this year, getting a million turnovers, number one defense, number one offense, winning the Super Bowl.
And the Bears missed the playoffs.
Right,
and the Bears missed the playoffs. That's the important part because they don't have an offensive line.
That is the argument.
And that's not a variability.
That is the argument you're structuring here, is that they have the greatest defense they've ever assembled, and they have the greatest offense they've ever assembled.
That's such a slippery slope. I'm saying that their defense is more aggressive and willing to take the ball away, and they have
and all I'm saying is that, like, and all I'm saying is yes, but you have to adjust for the curve of the giant propensity to turn the ball over of the last three teams they played.
Yes.
So this is a good test. I'm excited for this game. I think the Packers, if Jordan Love plays, they win this game. If Jordan Love doesn't play, they lose. Like, that's my stance on this. So I think they're better than the Vikings, and I think they win this game, but they're not better than the Vikings with Malik Willis at quarterback. They are better than the Vikings with Jordan Love at the quarterback. That's my stance on this game. I think the Packers are a better team, but I do think Malik Willis would be the factor in that game.
It would be so fun to watch if Malik Willis played. He's fun to watch.
Absolutely.
He might lose a game, though.
This is Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light.
You're listening to Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light. Also brought to you by J&K Security Solutions, securing homes and businesses in the Madison area since 1987.
Gold medalist and ESPN Madison foodie here, Matt Hamilton. As a proud Wisconsinite, you know I support local, and it doesn't get more local than Metcalf's Market. They're a fourth-generation, family-operated neighborhood market that's the best place to shop for me and my family, and they could be the best place to shop for you, too. They have an extensive selection of local and premium quality food, from meat and seafood to high-quality produce, specialty cheeses, plus a great selection of beer, wine, and liquor. Head to one of their locations in Hilldale, near Westtown Mall, or in Wauwatosa. Metcalf's Market. Bring local home.
Forget about the front row. The best seat and the best place to be on game day is Off-Broadway Draft House for all the sports. Check out our new game day menu with tostado nachos and featuring $2 hams on tap. Those specials are available all day on Saturdays and Sundays. Find out firsthand why Off-Broadway Draft House was Madison's People's Choice winners for favorite bar, wait staff, and more. Game day, any day. Discover what others already know. Off-Broadway Draft House. Come for the beer, stay for the food.
If you're looking for a special piece of jewelry for any occasion, Condon Jewelers is always there for you. Condon Jewelers has the best selection of jewelry you'll ever find and guaranteed to have the lowest prices in the Madison area. Free shipping is always available. Visit CondonJeweler.com or call 241-3406 and ask for Jim, the owner, who's at the store every day. Shop locally. Condon Jewelers, the jeweler on the east side, the jeweler on your side.
Time is of the essence with COVID-19. Prescription oral treatment must be taken within the first 5 days of symptoms. If you have a high risk factor, ask your doctor if treatment is right for you. Learn more at treatcovid19.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
We're going abroad for the first time in years. To Spain. So we started using Babbel.
And started learning Spanish fast.
With Babbel, you can start having conversations in another language in just 3 weeks.
¿Cómo te llamas? ¿Cómo te llamas?
When you learn a language, you want to actually use it. Babbel is designed with that goal in mind.
In just 3 weeks, we're starting to have conversations in Spanish. Gracias, Babbel.
Babbel, language for life. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com.
Time is of the essence with COVID-19. Prescription oral treatment must be taken within the first 5 days of symptoms. If you have a high risk factor, ask your doctor if treatment is right for you. Learn more at treatcovid19.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
For love of the game.
But there's nothing like being selected to the Olympic team.
And love of their country.
Championship of that level, gold medal, means more.
Tune into Behind the Bucks on the Bucks Plus Audio Network. Inside stories from Bucks stars on the agony and triumph of competing to win it all at the Olympics. It's Behind the Bucks, presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. Available now on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, and streaming wherever you get your podcasts.
You're only minutes away from a better buying experience at Simden Chevy in Mount Horeb. Jim Rutledge here. What is a better buying experience? Well, that's the thing. You get to define it. It is the experience that is customized to you. What experience do you want at a car dealership? They can be your trusted friend or your trusted expert. So if you're in the market for a new or new-to-you Silverado, Colorado, Blazer, Trailblazer, remember, you're only minutes away from a better buying experience. And that's at Simden Chevy in Mount Horeb. Step into nostalgia with the Miller High Life Dive Bar of the Week. Listen to Jim, Matt, and Molly every Thursday to find out where you can enjoy $2 Miller High Lifes and High Life Lights. To celebrate our love for dive bars, we are going to tell you about some of our favorites, including one featured dive bar that will offer $2 High Lifes and High Life Lights for the week. Taste the champagne of beer in its natural environment. A delightfully different dive bar in Wisconsin, like Whatever Bar, Ideal Bar, Club Lamarck, and VFW 8483.
Since J&K Security Solutions opened in 1987, our attention to detail and customer service have been our strongest assets. I'm President Jeffrey Beckman. We'll always do our best to find the most efficient and cost-effective solution to every job we tackle. Whether it's security for your home or business, installing video surveillance, or being able to control your garage doors from your phone, we can help you feel empowered with simple and user-friendly technology. Let's work together to secure your home or business. jksecurity.com.
Zimbrick Honda has been a proud part of the Madison community since 1973, and they're your one-stop shop for over 250 new Hondas to choose from. Whether you're looking for a sedan, SUV, or truck, their selection of new vehicles is second to none. Stop in today at their location on Fish Hatchery Road and check out the 2024 Honda Ridgeline with financing as low as 1.9% APR, or browse their vehicle selection online at ZimbrickHonda.com. That's ZimbrickHonda.com. Shop local, shop Zimbrick Honda.
Welcome back to Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light on 100.5 ESPN. Also brought to you by J&K Security Solutions.
When I see the connection.
The problem is there's no transparency, and if you ask Matt LaFleur how concerned he is, then he's got his new stock answer in addition to he was limited. Well, you're concerned anytime one of your best players can't take a full complement of reps in practice. You know, that's always going to concern you. So I honestly, I thought I knew, but I really don't know. And I'm not the only one that's feeling that way today.
That's Jason Wilde talking about the availability of Jordan Love heading into the game on Sunday.
Is Matt LaFleur snarkier, or did Aaron Rodgers just kind of cloud that? Because I like Matt LaFleur, but he seems to be getting snarkier with the media.
I would say this, and this is Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light. It's Jim and G with you. If he is, I don't like it because it seems like with his success that's been more singular, he's getting cockier. I don't think it's the case, but I would say that that would not reflect well on him if he's getting snarkier as he's getting more successful and is kind of the main star of this success, because obviously with Aaron Rodgers, you spin that all on Aaron. With Jordan, you got the development and the game planning around, and then you have to see Malik Willis. I don't think it's the case.
But
if it was the case,
that could happen.
I don't like it. All right, let's go pole dancing.
We asked and you answered.
What?
Coming to the stage, it's pole dancing on Jim, Matt, and Molly.
Hey now.
Presented by Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealership.
Yeah, guys, it's already been a spicy Phish Friday here on Jim, Matt, and Molly. So that's why we got to go pole dancing to finish off the show. We look around the polls from ESPN Wisconsin this week. We look at the results from their polls, and we decide what was the right answer in said polls. So today, we start with Kyle, Brust, and Norman. Their question from yesterday. We already set the table, guys. We know that this game is the Aaron Jones game. Now, Jordan Love might be playing, he might not be, but we all know Aaron Jones, the quarterback. Can't get him out of my mind. Aaron Jones making his return to Lambeau Field, and he has said that when he scores a touchdown, he will try to do a Lambeau leap into the stands. Yesterday on Kyle Brust Norman, they asked, if Aaron Jones were to Lambeau leap on Sunday, is it fair or foul to quote-unquote accidentally spill a beer on him? 59% of fans said fair, 41% said foul. Alex G, you're the Aaron Jones, you're the Packers fan here. What do you think?
I don't like the spilling of a beer, but also there's enough sweat, and it's whatever. Like if you accidentally spill a beer on him, I think that's foul. I'm gonna stay foul. It's not cool. He's a good dude. He doesn't deserve that. He doesn't deserve hatred. You can push him off. You can say, no, you're not Lambeau leaping anymore because you're not one of us really right now, even though you will be forever and always, but not today. Beer bad, push good.
Okay. Jim?
Yeah, don't touch him. Just jump in there and let him do if he scores, let him do the Lambeau leap. Embrace him. He's been nothing but spectacular his time with Green Bay, and after leaving Green Bay, he didn't leave Green Bay. He was pushed out of Green Bay. Yeah, so don't touch, pat the man on the back tell him good job. If you want to hit his helmet maybe a little harder, fine, but that's dumb because you're going to hurt your hand. So I would just say, just give the man his due.
I would ask you guys this. Given that he'll be jumping into the stands, what percentage of the fans sitting around the wall at Lambeau Field do you think would just embrace him and not spill a beer on him or try to push him off? Do you think it's reflective of the poll results, 59 to 41%?
I think it's good. I think more people catching a Lambeau leap is so exciting. I've done it. It doesn't matter who it is, and because it's a former Packer, you're going to be pretty hyped. It's not like it's some random guy that you're going to push out. It's Aaron Jones. We all love him. We wish he were still here. I think that it would be good. He'd catch it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, man, I would say that only a small 10% of people
that would
it might be
do
like
something.
an eye roll. Can't come here.
They might be like, I would have done something, but I had nachos in my hand. And a Coors Light. It didn't do anything. Didn't want to waste that Coors Light too much.
Exactly. We never want to waste that. All right, guys. Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, they asked on Monday, after the Packers got their 8 sacks and 2 interceptions against the Titans, do the Green Bay Packers have a defense? 55% of fans said yes. 2% said no. 43% of fans said still too early. So because of their options here, Jim Rutledge...
Too early.
Too early. What? Too early. Second and a half Hamilton.
Are we having the same show they did on Monday?
Very possibly. All right, Jim, what do you say? Do you think the Packers have a true defense, or which one of these 2 options do you fall in? Yes, no, still too early.
Who's defining a true defense?
A true defense, like above average defense. I think that's what you would say is the Packers have a defense.
I definitely say they have a better defense than last year.
Okay.
A top 10 most desirable defense?
No. I would say a above average defense, yes. Because average is 15?
Yeah, exactly.
So 15. I would say they're an above average defense without quite. I feel comfortable saying that already, and I feel comfortable they're saying that they're better than they were last year. To say that they're top 10, that's a bridge too far.
Yeah.
It's too early for me for
when
that.
they say, do the Packers have a defense, that's what I assume. Like the defense,
so under that,
they aren't a liability.
Yeah, so under that description, yes, they have a defense.
Yeah, I think that they do have a defense. I think that there's enough turnover potential. We talked about that. I think that the linebackers are a little weak. Quay Walker could become something, but it just feels like that clock is ticking way too fast. Isaiah McDuffie, fine. Edgerrin Cooper looks good. That offense, or the defensive line is good enough. There's a lot of talent and ability there. I think that the playmakers in the secondary can make this defense something that could turn the tide of an important game.
Okay. All right, well, we talked to Jason Wilde a little bit ago, guys, and he was on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy with the other Alex this morning. Maybe Jim's new favorite Alex again after today's show. Who knows? But apparently, Mr. Irrelevant took him a while to get out of bed this morning. Woke up at 6:30, he said, had a few alarms, and showed up a little groggy to the show still. So they were asked, how many alarms does it take for you to wake up and get moving in the morning? 0 alarms? Just 1? At least 2? 2 or more? 26% of people said 0 alarms, which is crazy. 47% said just 1 alarm. 19% said at least 2. 8% said 2 or more. Alex G., where do you fall?
This is pulling the. This is. It used to be 1. I was up. I ran. Now. My girlfriend's a cuddler, man. It's so hard to get out of bed.
Hey, all right.
I don't know.
Look at this guy.
It's just I have to set the alarm 15 minutes earlier just to work in those morning cuddles.
You have your alarm and your cuddle alarm.
Yep.
Cuddle time.
Yep.
All righty. Well, I get out of bed with the 1 alarm. Is there not a snooze?
There's no cuddling in your life anymore, Jim?
My wife's a teacher. She's up before I am. She's up and out usually. She's got making the kids breakfast. Let's call Alex back 17 years later and see how much the cuddling is in the morning.
Yeah.
But his 2 kids get ready for school. But you squeeze your pillow extra tight in the morning before you get going?
Oh, why do you have to turn it on me for some reason? But no, I'm 1 alarm. I'm up and I'm at it.
Does the snooze button not exist anymore?
Right.
Oh, wait, that's what I mean by multiple alarms. I hit the snooze.
So I think the thing that some people do, and I have done this when I need to, like if I need to get up really early, I'll set an alarm for 4:30, and then I'll set another one for 4:31.
Just
to make
turned
sure.
it off in my sleep before.
And I've done I'll do it every 5 minutes, 4:30. Same idea.
That's what you should do. Yeah,
but to your point though, I've never slept through the first one.
Oh God, I can't even.
Nice.
I know we've had some people here who have had issues with sleeping through alarms.
Well,
It
because the
is
other
a true
part of it is
thing.
like, if I have to get up that early, I sleep like crap because I'm so worried about. I'm so light. The first one, I'm ready to go like when it goes off. Like if I have an early flight, most of the time, like my eternal clock. Like let's say I had to wake up 4:30, I'll wake up at like 4:15 and be like, all right, I guess I'm up.
Usually that's the case, but every once in a while, like if it's a normal day and I fell asleep late or something like that, I have turned the alarm clock off in my sleep enough times that I do
What
have
time
to
do you
have
guys
to.
like? What time? I'm just curious. Like I don't like honestly at this point. I woken up enough at this time. I just kind of wake up between 6 and 6:30. Like that's just going to be what happens. I don't need an alarm. I mean, if there's something I have to be up for, I'll set it as a backup. But like, if it's after 6 o'clock, I'm gonna be up anyways.
7:05 and 7:07 are my two alarms.
I usually get up around 5:30.
Whoa!
Yeah.
When do you go to bed? You work late often.
Yeah, but I kind of work late, and then as soon as I'm done, I just go straight to bed. So I'm more of like I have like my quote unquote free time in the morning.
The only time I've seen you at the gym was when I went in the morning, and we go to the same gym.
Yeah.
But I go at night, so.
Yeah, I hate going to the gym at night. That's part of the reason.
I prefer not to.
I would
but
not go that late.
That's when the
I can't
frisbee
do it.
stuff is. So like in the days there isn't frisbee stuff, I just go to the gym.
Going to the gym at night is the worst. It's like you had a full day, and now you have to pick yourself up and go like work out. It's like, no, I can't do this.
Same. It's not my thing. Yeah. I mean, the best thing. I mean, if you had like volleyball or some like sport to play,
Yes.
like that's fine. It's social.
Get that competitive energy going.
Yeah. You're having some fun, but to just go to the brutal.
It's the worst.
All right. Is that it?
That was pole dancing. The music's
that's
done.
pole dancing. Who's the winner?
Now it's cuddle time.
All right, it's cuddle time.
Alex, she's the winner.
Alex, she's the winner with the cuddle time.
I win every day. It's great.
Ho Chunk Gaming Madison is where winners go. Millions of dollars won by hundreds of people every single weekend at Ho Chunk Gaming Madison. Go be a winner. Go to Ho Chunk Gaming Madison. This is Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light.
You're listening to Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light on 100.5 ESPN, ESPN Madison on YouTube, and Wisconsin On Demand.
From color-changing alexandrite to shimmering zircon and everything in between at Chalmers Jewelers, you'll find high-quality, affordable, one-of-a-kind pieces. We source straight from the gem cutters, and we manufacture in-house from start to finish. As the manufacturer, we believe in truth in pricing. Never pay more for quality and stunning, beautiful jewelry. She's one of a kind, and so should her jewelry be. While others may send your jewelry dreams to someone else to make, with us, your dreams become reality with the help of our custom jewelers, with you involved the whole way. With a staff that has over 200 years of combined experience, why buy from a place that marks up jewelry made by the thousands? When you can buy direct from Chalmers for that one-of-a-kind piece that is better quality, often for less.
Chalmers Jewelers in Middleton
and Madison.
It takes a team to meet just about any goal, and that's as true on the football field as it is in the office. So it's good to know that you have the Gordon Flesh Company on your side. For more than 60 years, GFC has provided cutting-edge office technology for companies of all sizes, and as the nation's largest Canon dealer, GFC delivers the latest office technology, service, and is supported by the most experienced professionals in the industry. That's business technology managed. Visit gflesh.com to learn more.
Kick off your weekend with the best Phish Friday in Madison at Off-Broadway Draft House. Serving all day on Friday starting at 11 a.m., you can enjoy cod, bluegill, perch, and walleye. Wash it all down with an Off-Broadway Draft House old-fashioned or try any of our rotating seasonal tap beers or specialty cocktails. Off-Broadway Draft House, Madison's People's Choice winners for favorite bar, wait staff, and more. Off-Broadway Draft House. Come for the beer. Stay for the food.
GRB Academy is baseball for the serious player. GRB is hosting its annual Top Prospect Camp on Saturday, October 12th for pitchers, catchers, and position players. This annual event has attracted the top talent from across the Midwest for 13 years. This is your chance to showcase your skills in front of the top colleges in the country, and the camp is open to all players in the 2025 through 2028 grad classes. Visit grbacademy.com to register now. Raise baseball. Raise your game.
Every event tells a story, from the first impression to the final moments. Have someone guide your guests through every chapter the way you want the story told. Hi, it's Jeffrey from Celebrations Entertainment. With a strong presence, great voices, and an award-winning team, trust us to guide, direct, and inform your guests through all the different chapters of the day. For fun, memorable entertainment for any event, please visit us at celebrationsentertainment.com. That's celebrationsentertainment.com.
Nothing makes being outdoors better than having the right gear and the right crew. So here's an idea. Let Mountain Dew supply the gear and you bring the friends. Because when you buy specially marked multi-packs of Mountain Dew, you can collect points and earn epic limited edition outdoor gear. We're talking everything from custom Mountain Dew camp chairs and backpack coolers to exclusive Mountain Dew tents, fishing boats, and more. So buy Dew, collect points, get gear, and get outside with Mountain Dew outdoor gear.
Open to legal U.S. residents 18+. Subject to program terms at dewoutdoors.com and 12/31/24. Void or prohibited.
Score with back-to-school savings at Metro Ford of Madison. With 212 new vehicles available, you can get 2 years no-charge maintenance on new vehicles purchased. Qualified buyers can also get 90 days deferred payments. The 2024 Ford F-150 is available with 0.9% APR financing for 66 months. $15.54 per thousand borrowed. If an SUV is more your style, check out the 24 Ford Escape and browse the entire inventory at metrofordofmadison.com. That's metrofordofmadison.com.
Welcome back to Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light on 100.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Metro Kia Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealership.
It is Phish Friday here on Jim, Matt, and Molly, presented by Coors Light. It is Jim and G. We got primetime Laura Shine behind the glass. You can get into the show 844-770-3776. Had a heck of a show today. You guys big Harry Potter fans?
Yes.
So I saw, and this is on Twitter, but it's not that crazy if it's wrong. It's not the end of the world, but Maggie Smith passed away today, and then the actor that played Dumbledore from the first movie is a different actor than the Dumbledore for the rest of the movies.
Right. Yep.
But they both passed away a year apart on September 27th.
I didn't realize it was the same day.
Again, I'm using Twitter, but that's wow. And then but the other part of it is the three Professor McGonagall. That's who she was, right?
Yes.
And then
correct.
Dumbledore, and then Snape, the actor who played Snape, passed away on the 27th. But all three of them, the main professors at that school, are
within the last few years.
Yeah. Alan Rickman, just on a side note, just a national treasure, even though he's not American, as an actor. An international treasure. It's more
just a treasure.
It's
he's
just
a treasure.
phrase. He's an international treasure because he's loved everywhere. But he was in, obviously, he's in Die Hard. That was like his first American movie.
Which is so funny.
That
He's the
still
bad guy
is
in Die
my
Hard.
favorite portrayal of his.
But
Even Snape is great, but him in that movie is, what's his name? Oh, he's such a douche. He's such a douche.
He's perfect at it. But
I liked him in Love Actually.
That was
too.
That was another one I was going to bring up.
too,
The range on Alan Rickman.
Yeah.
I know. I mean, obviously Maggie Smith on her own right, an outstanding actress. But the range on Sense and Sensibility he was in, Alice in Wonderland, Love Actually. He was in Robin Hood. Also, he played.
Oh yes.
Similar type character as
the what you call Robin Hood. Who was the main character?
the sheriff of Nottingham.
Sheriff of Nottingham. But who was the main actor? Who played
Kevin
Robin
Costner.
Hood? The Kevin Costner Robin Hood. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. So I mean, he was a sneaky good actor. But Maggie Smith, known for Downton Abbey, obviously the Harry Potter movies. The one movie that I knew her from when I was younger, and I don't know if you guys ever ended up seeing this one, was Sister Act.
No.
I've heard of it. I've not seen it.
It's a fun one. It's Whoopi Goldberg, and she plays like a lounge singer who has to who witnesses a murder and has to hide.
I've seen. There's gifs of this everywhere. It's kind of a goofy one, right?
Yeah, it's like a good if you're looking for a 90-minute kind of fun. There's some singing in it, and Whoopi Goldberg is in it. She's every once in a while Whoopi Goldberg can do something good, and that's one of the ones she did.
That's the crazy thing to me is I think born after Whoopi Goldberg was an actual movie star. By the time I became
just talk
sentient,
shows.
she was just a talk show host.
So
she's the most interesting. Just why are you famous? And then it's oh, you were actually famous for a reason before.
Yeah, she was in Jumping Jack Flash was kind of her main star movie. I think you call that. She was also in Ghost though.
Yes.
She was a side character in that, but I believe Jumping Jack Flash was her star one. But Maggie Smith passed away today. Obviously, she's got a long, incredibly diverse and impressive IMDb.
What a weird way to send us into the weekend.
But I don't think it's bad.
No,
I mean, it's more honor. It's more honor.
She was older.
honestly.
Yeah, I mean, like
She's
she lived
93.
a great life.
All right, we'll go on this one. I'm sorry. At like 9, like there's a point where it's like it's sad, but like it's not as like you got to night. We're all signing up today, right? To live to 93.
Yeah, of course. It's a magical life.
Right. I mean, it is honestly a very blessed life. Forget all the money and all the accolades, all that she had. If you're able to live to 93,
it's what any of us should hope
we
for.
all should be so lucky. And absolutely, that's kind of my point on it. Like, it is. We all should just celebrate the life that she had and not be sad that a 93-year-old
inspired a generation.
Multiple. She was in a lot of movies. She's a star like in the 60s. All right. Well, cuddle this weekend. Cuddle the ones you love. This is the Jim, Matt, and Molly presented by Coors Light.
Introducing Pizza Hut's new Tavern-style pizza, an upgrade to their classic crispy thin crust. Cut into 16 snackable squares and